Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. Forced to become a villain, the system gives me so much. Chapter 81. Looking at the many rewards, Chen Ling showed a smile and said happily, "It's so cool to have so many rewards." Then, his eyes fell on the realm improvement cards, and he thought to himself, "I wonder what realm the 4 realm improvement cards can elevate me to." Thinking of this, Chen Ling reached out and picked up the realm improvement card without hesitation. He held the card tightly and murmured in a low voice, "Let me see what surprises these 4 realm improvement cards can bring." After saying that, he quickly crushed the 4 realm improvement cards together. In an instant, 4 bright streams of light flew out from the broken card, streaked through the void like meteors, and finally sank into his body. Chen Ling closed his eyes and felt the wonderful changes caused by the realm improvement card. After the stream of light entered the body, it seemed to resonate with some mysterious force, and a powerful energy began to surge in his spiritual sea. As the energy gathered, the spiritual sea gradually boiled, setting off turbulent waves. During this process, Chen Ling clearly felt that his level was rising at an alarming rate. There are new breakthroughs and progress every moment, and his strength is constantly increasing. First, he successfully broke through to the Great Emperor realm and felt a huge improvement in his power. However, this is just the beginning. Immediately afterwards, his realm broke through again and he entered the early stage of Heavenly Emperor realm. Later, the realm was promoted again, reaching the middle, late and perfect stages of Heavenly Emperor realm. When his realm was elevated to the Divine Emperor realm, it already aroused resonance between heaven and earth. The surrounding spiritual energy poured into his body crazily, replenishing the consumed power. In the end, his realm stopped at the perfection of the God Emperor realm, and he was only one step away from the Ancestor Emperor realm. At this time, the energy of the 4 realm improvement cards was finally exhausted, but they brought Chen Ling an unprecedented breakthrough. Feeling his own power, Chen Ling felt an unparalleled confidence and strength in his heart. He squeezed his palm gently, and suddenly, the space around him faintly fluctuated, as if it could not bear his strength and might collapse at any time. This powerful feeling made Chen Ling feel extremely excited. However, at this moment, Chen Ling accidentally leaked the news of his breakthrough. This weak fluctuation caused the awakening of countless powerful auras all over the world. If someone could stand next to these powerful men, they would be surprised to find that the lowest realm among them is also the Heavenly Emperor realm, and the highest one has reached the Divine Emperor realm. So many peerless powerful men awakened at the same time, causing the whole world to shake. Whether you can enter the realm of the Ancestral Emperor depends on this great world. One of the strong men said in a low voice, his tone revealing his expectations and nervousness for the future. Only by becoming the Ancestral Emperor can you step out of the blue star and enter the heavens. Another strong man agreed, with a determined light shining in his eyes. These strong men whispered one after another. They knew that the coming of this great world might be their only chance. If they missed it, they would never be able to achieve the state of the Ancestral Emperor. Therefore, they all keep their eyes on this era and prepare to go all out to compete for their own opportunities. After Chen Lingping calmed down, he decided to use other rewards, use the Chaos Godfiend body to develop to 50%. As his words fell, Chen Ling felt that his consciousness was pulled into a wonderful space by a mysterious force. This space is filled with strange and mysterious sights. Here, Chen Ling saw a group of strange-looking monsters. They were huge and exuded a powerful aura. However, what shocked him even more was that above the stars, there was a group of beings called Immortals by Godfiend. These Immortals are densely distributed in the starry sky, and their mouths emit devouring power, constantly eating away at everything around them. Under their devouring, a planet instantly lost all its vitality and turned into a silent death star. The faces of these Immortals are all inlaid with masks, which seem to be integrated with their bodies without any sense of abruptness. At this moment, Godfiend's sus figure suddenly appeared in front of Chen Ling. His voice resounded throughout the universe. "I am the overlord of the heavens and the leader of the demon race. Today, I will kill all of you Immortals and restore peace to the heavens." With Godfiend's shout, he rushed into the crowd of Immortals like a burning meteor and started a fierce fight. His huge aura overflowed, instantly shattering the planet beside him into countless fragments. And those Immortals were wiped out by tens of thousands of people. Just as Godfiend was standing in the starry sky overlooking them, suddenly, a dark light door appeared again. A group of immortals poured out continuously from inside. The number was so large that it was difficult to count, it was impossible to count them. At this moment, a heavier aura appeared, one foot stepped through the dark light door, and finally the whole picture was revealed. But that person seemed to be just a ball of nothingness. He could clearly see it, but he couldn't touch the real thing. I am the 21st Immortal King. The King of Nothingness. Offending us is the most wrong thing you have ever done in your life. Godfiend's face was solemn, and he did not dare to show any contempt because he could not see through the person in front of him at all. My sons, the gate to the heavens has been opened. We have been immersed in it for tens of millions of years. It's time to go out and hunt. The King of Nothingness shouted loudly. The immortals and the group of strange-looking monsters below cheered excitedly, and then rushed towards Godfiend and the others like a tide. The King of Nothingness gently raised his hand, and with just one finger move, Godfiend felt a powerful force impact, and a touch of blood spilled from the corner of his mouth. You must know that as the strongest person in the world, Godfiend has not shed blood for who knows how long. He was once unbeatable in the world. Even when facing many powerful enemies, he has never suffered such a heavy blow. However, at this moment, he was easily defeated with just one finger, which made him feel extremely shocked and angry. Godfiend knew in his heart that the strength of the person in front of him far exceeded his imagination and was definitely not something he could compete with. So, without hesitation, he fled the scene with the 18 seriously injured Godfiend elders and returned to the heavens. Using the body of the Chaos Godfiend as a sacrifice, he sealed the gates to the heavens, hoping to prevent the enemy from invading. However, despite their best efforts, the voice behind the door was still clearly audible. When the great age comes, it will be the day when we rule over the heavens. These words rang in their ears like thunder, making them realize that this crisis is not over. Godfiend stands in front of the gate of the heavens, his eyes are long and deep, as if transmigrating the endless starry sky, looking towards the distant shore. He seemed to be looking at Chen Ling. Immediately afterwards, Chen Ling woke up. He felt that his Chaos Godfiend body had become more powerful and had been developed to 50%. But at the same time, the figure of the King of Nothingness kept appearing in his mind, not because of fear. King of Nothingness, if you follow me, you will definitely improve your villain status. Perhaps, there may be more powerful and mysterious worlds outside the heavens than just this world. Chen Ling murmured to himself, with eyes in his eyes. Shining light. It's getting more and more interesting. Blue Star Novice Village will be released soon. The Chaos Godfiend body has been developed to 50%, which makes Chen Ling very excited. What's even more surprising is that this improvement has given rise to two powerful divine abilities. One of them is called Void, which contains the mysterious and powerful power of nothingness, which can transfer Chen Ling's physical body to a void space that belongs to him alone. In this state, he is left with nothing but a void body, able to completely ignore any form of attack. However, it should be noted that if you encounter an enemy whose level is much higher than his, it is still possible to annihilate him. Another divine ability is called Godfiend Extreme Tier, which gives Chen Ling the ability to tear apart space with his hand, allowing him to travel freely around the world. This divine ability has many wonderful uses, and the specific effects still need to be explored and discovered by him personally. Overall, both divine abilities are highly practical. The first divine ability can be seen as a powerful defensive method, while the second is more like an escape or dodge technique. After learning about these divine abilities, Chen Ling's eyes returned to the 3 intermediate guard summoning cards. He thought to himself, the low-level guard card can summon up to the guards of the God Emperor realm, so what kind of surprises will this mid-level guard card bring? He is full of expectations for these cards, hoping that they will bring him more powerful help. Chen Ling crushed 3 intermediate guard summoning cards without hesitation. In an instant, 3 mysterious vortex gates appeared in front of him. These doors shine with a strange light, as if they lead to another world. Ding! Congratulations to the host for the successful summoning. He has obtained 2 perfect guards from the Emperor realm and 1 midterm guard from the Venerable realm. As the system beeped, 3 figures slowly emerged from the vortex door. They exuded a powerful aura, spreading like an invisible pressure. However, this breath could not cause any harm to Chen Ling. See you, young master. The three guards shouted in unison, their voices full of respect and loyalty. Chen Ling looked at the three guards in front of him and was secretly surprised. He had heard about the realm of the Emperor realm, but he did not understand the realm after that. So, he said to himself, I have heard of this Emperor realm, but, this man venerable realm, system, please explain it to me. Ding. The realm after the Emperor realm can be divided into human venerable realm, earth venerable realm, heaven venerable realm, human realm, earth realm, heavenly realm, desolate realm, Hong realm, universe realm, Yu realm. The system responded quickly. After hearing the system's explanation, Chen Ling couldn't help but frown and murmured to himself, so there are so many realms ahead. It seems I'm not strong enough. If others heard it, they would definitely come up and give him two big mouths. Immediately afterwards, Chen Ling once again turned his attention to the 10 consecutive draws of Supreme Roulette. The roulette wheel began to rotate slowly, and countless rewards flashed before his eyes, like a gorgeous dream, while the hands kept stopping. Ding! Congratulations to the host for getting Wanling Banner, thank you for your patronage, thank you for your patronage, Divine Palace, Wanwo Supreme's training experience, Han Xia's King's cover, you know everything, Samsara Bone, Yi Tianju's resentment +1, thank you for your patronage, Chaos God Thunder. The results of this lottery are pretty good, and some of the rewards sound very high-end and classy, but what exactly is Han Xia's King's cover? This is exactly what Chen Ling is thinking at this moment. At the same time, in the system space, an item with a little lace is quietly placed there. Chen Ling couldn't help but tremble all over, and then looked at the introduction of these rewards carefully. Wanling Banner. Human venerable, capable of extracting resentment, souls, and all negative energy from living beings. It is full of evil and powerful power, and its power can be described as full. Shenzhen Palace. This building is majestic and the internal space is vast, as if it can accommodate everything in the world. Like a majestic palace, it exudes unparalleled majesty and dignity. The host will definitely need to form a force in the future, and this can be used as the host's base camp. Wanwo Supreme's training experience, an extremely precious treasure. As a veteran Supreme, Wanwo Supreme's training experience is undoubtedly a priceless treasure. This training experience will become a guide on the road to the top, avoiding detours and improving strength faster. Reincarnation Bone. This is also a special physique. The Hongmeng body ranks 4th. It contains the law of reincarnation and the runes are mysterious and powerful. A trace of Chaos God's Thunder. This is a treasure exclusively sponsored by the system. Although there is only a trace, the power it contains is enough to destroy a world. Such terrifying power must be used with caution to avoid unpredictable consequences. Chen Ling nodded with satisfaction and said with a smile, this system is quite good. He knew that these rewards were of great significance to him, and each one was a rare treasure. Next, he needs to digest these rewards and convert them into his own strength. So, Chen Ling began to calm down and study these rewards one by one. The practice experience of Wanwo Supreme was integrated into his mind, absorbing its essence, merging with the reincarnation bone. He understood the true meaning of the law of reincarnation. At the same time, carefully feel the power of the Chaos Divine Thunder and think about how to use this terrifying power rationally. At the same time, countless powerful men came to China, and their common goal was the Chen family. In Tiandu, in a luxury hotel, Yi Tianju stood in front of the floor-to-ceiling windows, overlooking the city below, murmuring to himself, the Chinese air, it's been a long time since I last. His eyes were deep and sharp, as if they could penetrate everything. In another place, Han Xia was wearing a black robe, revealing only a pair of eyes full of hatred. She whispered, Chen Ling, I will make you pay the price. In the Chen family of Tiandu, several powerful auras awakened. These people are all masters of the Emperor Realm and Heavenly Emperor Realm. There are 12 in total. This is the strength of the Chen family. No wonder they have been able to rule China for so many years. They exude unparalleled coercion, which makes people shudder. HMPH. The storm is coming, and these guys are also plotting against the Chen family, said the ancestor of Emperor Realm, a god. Then do it. Not everyone in the Chen family can deal with it. By the way, who is the head of the Chen family now? It's a little guy named Chen Tianao. His cultivation in the Great Emperor Realm is very good. His son Chen Ling is a great contributor to our Chen family. This Samsara tower is his handiwork. All the ancestors nodded. They had also experienced the mysteries of the reincarnation tower. They could not understand it clearly, but the effect was remarkable and they had cultivated a large number of strong men for the Chen family. The next day, Chen Ling opened the door and walked into the Samsara tower. At a glance, he saw a large number of Chen family disciples and Lin family disciples practicing hard. Chen Ling nodded slightly with satisfaction and thought to himself, this is the ethos a family should have. If it never makes progress, then this family will probably decline soon. When everyone saw Chen Ling approaching, they all stopped and stood up, saluting him respectfully. See you, young master. Their eyes were full of respect and gratitude. Maybe these people were at a lower level before, but it was precisely because Chen Ling gave them this opportunity that they had the possibility to become strong. Chen Ling waved his hand casually, indicating that they didn't need to be polite, then walked straight to the top and said loudly, fellow members of the family, I have seen your hard work during this period. This young master is not stingy. Today, I specially bring you an opportunity. As soon as Chen Ling finished speaking, a bright light suddenly flashed in his hand. In the blink of an eye, stars appeared in the air, flashing densely like a bright starry sky. These starlights slowly fell into everyone's hands. When the light disappeared, they looked at the object in their hands, only to find that it was a pill the size of a dragon's eye, and it was a mixture of several colors. Just when everyone was wondering what this was, what Chen Ling said next made their eyes instantly become hot. Chen Ling explained, these are several kinds of pills, namely Saint Pill, Saint King Pill, Great Saint Pill, and Great Emperor Pill. As the name suggests, after taking the first level of Tao, you can immediately break through to the Saint level, and so on. So is it. However, although the elixir is against the sky, there is also an interval between taking it. You can only take the next one after 7 days. Just like if you take the Saint Pill today, you can take the Saint King Pill and break through to the Saint King in 7 days. Although there are some restrictions, it still looks incredible. If someone else gets it, wouldn't it be possible to quickly create a great emperor army? Chen Ling raised the corners of his mouth slightly, chuckled, and then quietly disappeared from the spot. At this moment, the disciples of the Chen family and the Lin family could no longer suppress their excitement. They all sat down cross-legged without hesitation and swallowed the precious pills in their hands. Just a moment later, a miracle happened. These disciples successfully broke through the realm one after another, and their strength increased significantly. For a time, those with the lowest level of cultivation in the Chen family have all entered the realm of saints, and powerful men from the great emperor realm have sprung up like mushrooms after a rain. In the main hall, Chen Ling teleported over, glanced around, and landed on those familiar faces, feeling a warm feeling in his heart. However, when he stared at the other 12 strangers, through the information panel, he understood everything instantly. It turned out that these 12 people were the ancestors of the family, possessing the horrors of the Emperor realm and even the Heavenly Emperor. Cultivation. The 12 ancestors were the first to wake up from their slumber. They looked curiously at Chen Ling up and down, trying to see through the young man's background, but they could never get a glimpse of his true strength. So young. Deep breath. The ancestors couldn't help but exclaimed in low voices. The 12 ancestors hurriedly walked towards Chen Ling, their eyes full of novelty and doubt. One of them asked, "Is your boy Chen Ling the young master of our Chen family?" Chen Ling nodded and said, "I have met all the ancestors." "Ha ha, not bad. My Chen family has a Qilin." An old man looked at Chen Ling with a smile on his face and praised. "But, what is your cultivation level now? Why can't we see through it?" Another old man frowned and asked in confusion. This question is also a doubt in the minds of other ancestors. Chen Ling paused. He originally wanted to hide his cultivation level. After all, it was too shocking, but he didn't want to deceive these ancestors, so he took a deep breath and said directly, "God Emperor realm is perfect." Boom. His words were like thunder, exploding in the hall. Everyone was stunned and looked at Chen Ling in shock. God Emperor realm is perfect. How is this possible? An ancestor muttered to himself. How old is he? He is already the God Emperor realm and has reached perfection. Another ancestor also shook his head in disbelief. Chen Tianao and others had also woken up just now. After hearing Chen Ling's words, although they had long known that Chen Ling was a monster, they still couldn't help but gasp. I'm going. The Divine Emperor realm has been perfected. I have practiced for more than 10,000 years, and I am still only in the early stage of the Divine Emperor realm. It's really a shock, said an ancestor helplessly. How old are you this year? Asked another ancestor. Chen Ling smiled slightly and replied calmly, 19 years old. After hearing this answer, everyone couldn't help but take a breath. One of the ancestors muttered to himself in disbelief. How many? 19 years old. I thought it was more than 20 years old. I'll go. It's incredible. Chen Ling smiled and nodded without saying much. At this time, Chen Ling took out the Great Emperor Pill and Heavenly Emperor Pill, and handed them to Chen Tianao and other Great Emperor realm experts, as well as Xie Ziqing, Chen Xiao and others respectively. When they learned about the miraculous effects of these elixirs, they couldn't help but swallow their saliva, their eyes showing eagerness and anticipation. Chen Ling looked at the scene in front of him and felt a sense of satisfaction in his heart. These people are his closest friends and family members, and he feels extremely gratified to be able to help them improve their strength. Immediately afterwards, Chen Ling came to the side of the 18 Godfiend elders. He started the system and ran a full scan of them. The results surprised him. The cultivation of these Godfiend elders had been greatly improved, and the improvement was extremely astonishing. After careful observation, Chen Ling discovered that they have now reached the level of cultivation in the Venerable Realm. This discovery made him excited because it meant that he had a powerful force in his hands. Today, this team composed of 18 Venerable Realm Godfiend veterans has become Chen Ling's most powerful trump card. As long as he is willing, he can summon these Godfiend elders to conquer the world at any time, and their strength is enough to sweep across the entire Blue Star continent. Thinking of this, Chen Ling became more and more excited. Tiandu, underground, Yi Tianju was walking here and there until he came to a cave. There are 16 stone seats inside, surrounding the formation disc in the middle. The formation disc is carved with exquisite formation patterns, but it looks old and dull. Yi Tianju walked over, feeling excited in his heart, the door to another world. The evil has revived and will help me conquer Blue Star. He carefully scratched his palm, and a trace of blood flowed onto the array plate. Perhaps it was because the blood was special, but as soon as it hit the array plate, the array patterns kept flashing with a strange black light. Ha ha ha, it worked. Sure enough, my blood is the key. I am the chosen one. Yi Tianju laughed. The Chen family, are you ready to face my anger for so many years? The void opened like a gate, a claw appeared, and roars continued to be heard. Inside the dark light door, strange figures slowly emerged. Their hands were like sharp claws, their mouths had sharp fangs, their faces were as dark as ink, and their eyes were flashing with a heart-stopping red light. The auras of these figures are extremely powerful. The lowest ones are from the Great Emperor realm, while the highest ones have reached the terrifying Ancestral Emperor grade level. It was you who summoned us. A larger figure suddenly walked out of the dark door, with a questioning tone, revealing a sense of majesty and domineering. This figure was dozens of feet tall and exuded a strong evil aura. There are 2 huge horns growing on its head, and a necklace composed of skulls hangs around its neck, shining with a strange light. And this figure is the high priest of the alien race, Wu Tong. That's right, I gave you a new life. And you only need to help me complete one thing. Yi Tianju said calmly. His voice was calm and firm, without the slightest hint of fear. Oh, interesting. Tell me, what's going on? Came the hoarse voice of Wu Tong, like an evil ghost from hell, which made people's hair stand on end. Its eyes were fixed on Yi Tianju, full of curiosity and expectation. I want you to help me subvert China. Kill everyone in the Chen family of Tiandu. Yi Tianju roared through gritted teeth, his eyes full of hatred and determination. After hearing this, Wu Tong's eyes suddenly rolled up and turned into a pitch-black mess, with some mysterious fluctuations faintly emitting from his whole body. In the blink of an eye, he understood the entire situation of Blue Star. Ha ha, Langsing, Hua Sha. What an interesting world. I agree to your request. A strange smile appeared at the corner of Wu Tong's mouth, and he glanced at Yi Tianju a few more times, as if he was sizing up something. Yi Tianju was overjoyed when he heard this, but just when he was about to speak, Wu Tong suddenly interrupted him. But, your ambition is too short, isn't it? Alas, with the help of our Kuei tribe, isn't this just a Chinese person at your fingertips? Why do you just focus on that small goal? Don't you want to look further? For example, the entire blue star. After Yi Tianju heard this, he lowered his head and remained silent, as if he was deep in thought. After a moment, he slowly raised his head and said firmly, I just want revenge. His voice was full of grief, anger and unwillingness, which made people move. Wu Tong shook his head and stretched. Another person who is blinded by hatred. Forget it, sons. The king is about to wake up. Let us conquer this planet for the king. As soon as his voice fell, the surrounding Kuei tribe members immediately cheered. They waved their weapons excitedly, their eyes shining with greed and desire. And inside the dark light door, more people from the Wei clan are coming out in a steady stream. The number of these Wei clan is countless, as if they are endless. At the same time, it was midday in the Chinese mainland, and the sun was high in the sky. But suddenly, black clouds floated over quickly, completely blocking the sunlight. The originally bright sky instantly became extremely dark. The entire Chinese continent fell into darkness, and people were shocked and speculated whether there were powerful beings at war. However, at this moment, a series of harsh roars reached people's ears. When people looked along the sound, they saw a group of figures rushing out of the black clouds. These figures were members of the Wei tribe. Green saliva flowed from their mouths, and as soon as a drop fell to the ground, it immediately corroded the ground into small pits. These strange sights make people feel scared and uneasy. What is this? Everyone looked at the monster in front of them, with frightened expressions on their faces, and exclaimed involuntarily. These monsters look like humans, but they have twisted faces, sharp teeth, and exude a disgusting aura. Come on, my good sons. Wu Tong held the scepter, his eyes flashing with crazy light. He stretched out his hand and waved, and the people from the Wei clan immediately rushed towards the crowd with their bloody mouths. Fresh blood, delicious blood food. These words kept coming from the mouths of the Wei tribe, as if they had been hungry for a long time. Their speed was extremely fast, and they immediately rushed into the crowd, opened their mouths, and bit people's necks fiercely. For a moment, blood splattered everywhere, and it was too horrible to see. People screamed and begged for mercy one after another, and the whole city fell into chaos. Some people tried to resist, but the power of the Kuei clan was too strong. They easily took people's weapons away and then tore them into pieces. Ha ha ha. Yes, that's it. Kill as much as you want. Kill everyone. Yi Tianju stood on the top floor of a building, looking at the tragic situation below, and laughed proudly. His laughter was full of cruelty and pleasure, making people shudder. Back then, my Yi family had the same expression as you do now. It's so happy. Yi Tianju's face was ferocious, his eyes widened, and his eyes were filled with the pleasure of revenge. He recalled the scene when his family was wiped out, and the hatred in his heart made him become even crazier. Not only China, but the entire Blue Star was invaded by the Wei tribe. The number of these strange creatures is astonishing, and they are boundless as far as the eye can see, seemingly endless. What's even more frightening is that the dark portal is still pouring out more people from the Wei tribe. In the Chen family, Chen Ling suddenly opened his eyes and rushed into the sky in a flash, overlooking the scene below with no expression on his face. After a quick scan of the system, the relevant information was immediately displayed in front of him: the Wei clan. The lowest Great Emperor realm, the highest Ancestor Emperor realm. Summoned by Yi Tianju. It's interesting. Chen Ling completely dismissed these weird tribes, because as long as he summoned 18 God-fiend elders, these weird tribes could be easily wiped out. However, he still decided to take action personally. After all, it had been a long time since he had killed as much as he wanted. At the same time, many aristocratic families from all over China have united to prepare to jointly resist the Kuei clan. But when facing those under the Emperor realm, you can still kill them, but not the Emperor realm. There is no Emperor realm in China. This realm is too difficult to break through. Even if there is a breakthrough, they have already left Blue Star and set foot in the heavens. They don't know whether they will live or die. At this time, a large group of Wei clan came around the Chen family. Just as they were about to break in, a sword energy passed over and cut a gap in front of them. The people of the Wei tribe looked at the sword energy with a little solemn eyes, but they were not afraid, maybe because of their low IQ, and rushed straight towards it. In an instant, the pervasive sword energy moved and they were chopped into pulp. The remaining Kuei tribe didn't dare to step forward anymore, and just watched on the spot. The door of the Chen family slowly opened. Chen Ling had his hands on his back, and the blood sword was suspended at his feet, shining with an icy cold light. Like an immortal, he stepped on the blood sword and floated towards the door lightly. There was a cold aura between his brows, like an iceberg that made people unable to get close. The faint murderous aura around him was like a layer of invisible armor, which made people feel chilly. If you dare to take a step forward, you will be killed without mercy. As Chen Ling blurted out the word, kill, everyone in the Chen family behind him rushed out. Some were flying in the air, and some were standing on the roof. They were holding various magic weapons, and their eyes were full of murderous intent, staring fiercely at the group of weird people in front of them. The remaining group of Wei clan scratched their heads in confusion, their eyes full of doubts. However, at this moment, Wu Tong came flying from the rear at an astonishing speed. His speed was so fast that the air was torn apart, creating a deafening sonic boom. After all, he is the powerful being of the Ancestor Emperor realm. Jia, are you the so-called Chen family? Ha 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 ha, sure enough, the aura exuding from your bodies really fascinates me. Wu Tong stuck out his slender tongue and greedily licking his lips, his eyes flashed with greed. When Wu Tong saw many Chen family members, his eyes instantly turned green. Among these Chen family members, the one with the lowest strength is also the Great Emperor realm, while the strongest one has reached the level of the God Emperor realm. For the Kuei people, this is undoubtedly a hearty meal, allowing them to enjoy delicious food and nourishment. And Yi Tianju, who was standing at the top of the building, no longer hid, and came to Wudong in a flash. He raised his head and laughed, ha ha ha. Tiandu Chen family, I'm back. Everyone looked over curiously and saw that Yi Tianju was no longer wearing a mask, revealing his original appearance. His hair is black and white, flying like a whirlwind, his eyebrows are as sharp as swords, revealing a sense of majesty and domineering. The bridge of his nose is tall and straight, giving people a sense of perseverance. His eyes are as sharp as an eagle, as if he can see through everything. However, the only thing that stood out was that starting from the root of his neck, a hideous scar extended to his chin, like an ugly centipede lying on it. You are the remnant of the Yi family from back then. Chen Tianao's eyes widened and he shouted in surprise. He never expected that the strange-looking person in front of him would be a survivor of the Yi family. I never thought you were still alive. Yi Tianju stared at Chen Tianao with eyes full of hatred, and said through gritted teeth, old man. So you still remember. Look at my face, look at this scar. If your blades were a little more crooked at that time, I would have died a long time ago. This is nothing. When I saw the corpses of the Yi family scattered all over the field and rivers of blood, do you know how I felt? There were thousands of lives in the Yi family. That was thousands of lives. How do they feel? Yi Tianju's eyes widened and he roared ferociously. Chen Tianao's face was dull, with a trace of disdain on his lips, and he said casually, I don't think the Chen family has done anything wrong. Although my Chen family has been domineering for a long time, there are some things that we still know the importance of. For a family that colludes with the Cherry Blossom Kingdom, ask yourself in your conscience whether it should be eradicated. Should it be destroyed? Chen Tianao's voice was filled with a hint of chill, like a sharp thorn piercing into Yi Tianju's body, heart. Impossible. How could my Yi family? Yes, you must be lying to me. Yi Tianju's eyes were full of despair and anger, and he began to doubt the world. Stop farting. Wouldn't it be over if you just kill him? History is written by the victors. Wu Tong suddenly had some literary talent at this time, and his words were full of confidence and arrogance. Yes, kill them all. Yi Tianju's rationality was pulled back a little. At this time, Chen Ling moved. After listening to them talking for so long, he was not interested at all. The only person who could interest him was Yi Tianju, the son of fate. Chaos Godfiend body. Open. As soon as Chen Ling finished speaking, the Godfiend law manifestation appeared that covered the sky and the sun. Different from the previous one, because the Chaos Godfiend body has been developed to 50%, the current Godfiend law manifestation is more real and the aura is more powerful. Chen Ling's body was surrounded by chaotic energy, like a devil coming to the world. The terrifying aura filled the air and was suffocating. Yi Tianju, you have sent Black Dragon Society killers to bother me again and again. Today, all grudges are settled. How dare you fight me? Chen Ling looked at him condescendingly, with a cold light shining in his eyes. His voice was like thunder, resounding throughout the battlefield, and everyone felt his momentum and killing intent. Yi Tianju was shocked. He looked up at Chen Ling's huge Godfiend law manifestation, and a strong fighting spirit surged in his heart. HMPH. Why don't you dare? Chen Ling, either you will die today, or I will. Yi Tianju roared angrily, exuding a powerful aura, and his eyes were full of determination and fighting spirit. Their eyes met in the air, as if two lightning bolts collided in the air, sparking endless sparks. The whole scene became tense instantly, and everyone held their breath, looking forward to the outbreak of this peerless battle. Yi Tianju stared at the Godfiend law manifestation, with no fear in his eyes, but full of provocation and killing intent. Kill you. The Chen family will definitely feel bad. Oh, by the way, the Chen family should be here today destroyed. His voice was cold and ruthless, as if he had foreseen the demise of the Chen family. As soon as he finished speaking, Yi Tianju's body gradually became transparent, and then slowly blended into the shadow under his feet. Immediately afterwards, the shadow on the ground began to squirm, as if it were alive, and slowly turned into a black mist figure, quietly suspended in the air. Chen Ling, today is the day you die. Yi Tianju's roar came from the figure in the black fog, with endless anger and hatred. The next moment, his figure disappeared instantly, and when he reappeared, he was already behind Chen Ling. Chen Ling seemed to have expected it. He just glanced lightly, raised the corners of his mouth slightly, and showed a disdainful smile. He moved his fingers gently, and an invisible force instantly enveloped his back. At this moment, the black spikes controlled by Yi Tianju slammed into this invisible force, making a harsh friction sound and a dull impact sound. However, the black spikes were unable to penetrate this layer of defense and could only create dazzling sparks on the surface. Yi Tianju was startled and quickly stepped back, looking at the young man in front of him in disbelief. Impossible. My dark thrust can kill even the Heavenly Emperor instantly. How can you resist it? Yi Tianju murmured. Chen Ling looked at Yi Tianju and gradually became impatient. Use all your strength. Maybe you can break my defense a little bit. Chen Ling had already seen Yi Tianju's personal information before. Name: Yi Tianju. Age: 25. Realm: Heavenly Emperor Realm Perfection. Special Physique: Shadow Holy Body. Luck Level: Level 7. Red luck colors: black, white, yellow, green, blue, purple, red, gold. Color: Kung Fu, Shadow Magic, Dark Stab, Demonic Shadow Transformation. Goldfinger: None. Evaluation: A 6-year-old boy, relying on years of hatred, suddenly broke through to the Heavenly Emperor realm. His life has been full of twists and turns, and he is destined to sink into the abyss of hatred. Chen Ling didn't pay much attention to that comment, but the red luck level of level 7 made Chen Ling jealous, and he thought to himself, I wonder what good things will come out after killing him. After all, this is the first person I have encountered. A child of 7th level luck. Yi Tianju's expression was solemn and his brows were furrowed. He felt Chen Ling's contempt and disdain, which made him feel dissatisfied. However, when he saw Chen Ling's unruly eyes, the disgust in his heart became stronger. As you wish, Yi Tianju responded coldly. With that said, Yi Tian would no longer hide his cultivation. The aura around him suddenly exploded, and a powerful force filled the air. The aura of the Heavenly Emperor realm was released, forming an invisible pressure that enveloped the surrounding space. His figure became extremely tall at this moment, as if he had become the master of heaven and earth. Facing Yi Tianju's momentum, Chen Ling still maintained a calm attitude. He raised the corners of his mouth slightly, revealing a contemptuous smile, and said softly, Heavenly Emperor is in the perfect realm. Your talent is indeed very strong compared to those geniuses. Unfortunately, in my eyes, you are still an ant that can be killed easily. Chen Ling's words exploded like thunder, shocking everyone present. They stared at Chen Ling in disbelief with their eyes widened. At this moment, the aura on Chen Ling's body suddenly changed, and a more powerful and vast power surged out of his body. The perfect aura of the God Emperor realm was suddenly released. In an instant, everyone's eyes on the entire battlefield were attracted and focused on Chen Ling. They felt the terrifying aura emanating from Chen Ling's body, and all looked shocked. The same goes for Wu Tong. Tisk tisk. The energetic God Emperor realm is so mouth-watering. Kill all the people in front of you first, and then I will enjoy you. Wudong burst out of his ancestors' Emperor realm cultivation, flew to the top of the Chen family's camp, and swung out a few thick beams of light, directly killing a group of Chen family disciples in the Great Emperor realm. Just when Wu Tong was proud, 3 figures came like ghosts and surrounded him. These 3 people are Chen Ling's intermediate bodyguards. They exude a powerful aura, which makes Wu Tong frown. 2 of the ancestors, Emperor realm, are perfect, and the other one can't even see through it. Yi Tianju felt Chen Ling's pressure and his body trembled slightly. He gritted his teeth and looked at the godlike young man in the sky with a look of reluctance. Why are you better than me? I have worked hard for 16 years and finally reached the heavenly Emperor realm. You are less than 20 years old and you are the God Emperor realm. Heaven is unfair. Yi Tianju roared, his eyes full of reluctant and angry. When Tiandao heard this, he said, so, how can I dare to be fair? It's not that comfortable to be hit by the chaos divine thunder. Yi Tianju roared, why? Why can't I be as good as a young master from a noble family despite all the hard work I put in? Am I really not as good as him? No, I won't admit it. After speaking, he lowered his head and let out a deep laugh, as if he had lost his mind. Suddenly, he raised his head suddenly, with determination in his eyes. His body began to emit strong black energy, which quickly surrounded him, shrouding him bit by bit. Finally, the black energy completely swallowed up his face, making it impossible to see his expression clearly. At this moment, a strange sound came, which seemed to be the sound of a heartbeat, but it was not exactly the same. This voice echoed in everyone's mind, making people feel an inexplicable fear and uneasiness. Suddenly, the black energy burst out violently, and a large amount of resentment spurted out like a fountain, accompanied by a low murmur, God Emperor realm. I have also reached it. As the voice fell, the black air gradually dissipated, revealing a figure, Yi Tianju. At this time, Yi Tianju had changed. His short hair had turned into waist-length hair. He looked like a crazy demon, with his eyes scarlet and shining with a strange light. Yi Tianju took a step forward, and the surrounding space fluctuated violently. In an instant, he disappeared from where he was, and the next moment he appeared in front of Chen Ling. His hand turned into a black air blade, slashing towards Chen Ling at an alarming speed. Facing Yi Tianju's attack, Chen Ling did not pay attention, but used his blood sword to gently block Yi Tianju's air blade. However, after the 2 attacks collided, a powerful force burst out, and even the black clouds in the sky were dispersed by this force. At the same time, circles of energy light waves spread in the air, reaching hundreds of miles in radius. Seeing this situation, Chen Ling mocked, there's something, but it's not enough. As he said that, he injected more spiritual energy into the blood sword. In an instant, Yi Tianju's body was shaken by the powerful force and flew backwards, smashing the surrounding tall buildings. I won't play with you anymore. Since you like resentment, I will use the same thing to kill you. Chen Ling's voice seemed to come from the underworld, without any emotion, and so cold that it made people tremble. He waved his palm lightly, and a bright light flashed past. Then, a mysterious law weapon exuding a strange aura, the 10,000 Spirits banner, slowly appeared in front of him. Seeing this scene, Yi Tianju felt a strong uneasiness in his heart. This law weapon gave him an indescribable sense of depression, as if it contained endless darkness and evil power. All souls eat souls. Chen Ling uttered 4 words in his mouth, like a thunder exploding in the air. The Wanling banner instantly burst out with a terrifying devouring force, like a ferocious giant beast opening its bloody mouth, tearing Yi Tianju's soul crazily. Ah, ah, Yi Tianju howled in pain. The severe pain of his soul being torn apart made him almost lose his mind. This kind of pain exceeded the limit that ordinary people could bear. His body was shaking violently, trying to break free from this terrible force, but everything was in vain. A moment later, Yi Tianju's soul was completely torn out and was mercilessly swallowed by the Wanling banner. And his physical body lost its support and fell straight to the ground. Bang! There was a dull loud noise, and his body hit the ground hard, turning into a puddle of meat in an instant, and the pungent smell of blood filled the air. After finishing dealing with Yi Tianju, Chen Ling turned his attention to Wu Tong, and saw the mid-level guard from the Venerable Realm suppressing him and beating him. The other two intermediate guards of the Emperor Realm went to help the children of the Chen family and the Lin family. With their participation, the situation on the battlefield suddenly reversed. Wu Tong was covered in wounds. There was not only a big difference between the Ancestor Emperor Realm and the Human Venerable Realm, but also a huge span. Therefore, Wu Tong had no power to fight back. The Venerable Realm guard pinched his fingers, and the black copper was instantly thrown into the sky, and it seemed that there were countless invisible fists beating his body. Left, right, up and down, black blood spurted out from his mouth. The guard of Human Venerable Realm looked at Wu Tong, with a trace of disdain flashing in his eyes. He used his strength again and slammed the black copper to the ground. Wu Tong's body fell heavily to the ground, raising a cloud of dust. His body was badly damaged, but he still persisted, trying to stand up and continue fighting. HMPH. Still want to resist? You are overestimating your own capabilities, the guard of the Venerable Realm said with a sneer. Wu Tong raised his head with difficulty and looked at the guards of Venerable Realm, his eyes shining with unwillingness. How could there be such a strong person on Blue Star? No, there is no chance of winning if we continue to fight, Wu Tong said solemnly. Just when the guard was about to kill him with one finger, Wu Tong shouted, "My king! Save me!" Boom! There was a flash of lightning in the sky, and underground, in the door of darkness, a pair of eyes opened, strange and terrifying. Suddenly, this figure did not hesitate and swept out of the dark door. In the blink of an eye, it was over the Chen family. It has bone wings on its back, two horns on its head, and wears black armor with its abdomen exposed. He looked at the Venerable Realm guard, frowned slightly, and stretched out his hand to break the attack that was rushing toward Wu Tong. King! Wu Tong was overjoyed when he saw the person coming. User looked around, finally looked at Chen Ling, waved his hand, and disappeared with the black copper. At this time, everyone in the Chen family breathed a sigh of relief, but they knew that this matter was not over yet. Who is this person? How can he have such strength? Someone asked. I don't know, but it looks strong, another person said. We'd better be careful, there might be other dangers, someone reminded. Chen Ling looked at the direction in which User was leaving and murmured, the king of the Wei tribe, the Venerable Realm, haha, that's interesting. Sir, I'm sorry, my subordinate neglected his duty and let that black copper escape. The Venerable Realm guard quickly came over and knelt down on one knee, his tone full of self-blame and guilt. Chen Ling looked calm and waved his hand gently, it doesn't matter. The king of the Wei clan is very powerful. He has Venerable Realm cultivation. You can't stop it, it's normal. His voice was calm, as if he was satisfied with this result. It was expected. As time goes by, more and more powerful people begin to emerge, and the Ancestor Emperor Realm's cultivation is no longer invincible. Nowadays, strong men appear one after another, and their strength is so powerful that it is amazing. Although Wu Tong was taken away by the king of the Kuei tribe, the ordinary Kuei tribe soldiers did not leave. They are still raging around the world, bringing endless killing and destruction. In this fierce battle, people saw countless ruins and piles of corpses. Not all forces are as strong as the Chen family to resist the attacks of the Kuei clan. Many countries and regions have fallen into chaos and panic, and mankind is facing an unprecedented crisis. However, even though the Kuei clan is extremely powerful, there is still a place in Blue Star that has survived, becoming the only place that has not been invaded by the Kuei clan. In Sakura country, in a magnificent palace, a group of people were discussing something intensely. Your Majesty Tianwang, according to the news we have received, China and those powerful countries have been invaded by a race called the Wei tribe, except our Sakura country. A short general with a mustache under his nose said excitedly. Oh, there is such a thing. Doesn't that mean that our Sakura country has a unique charm and strength that makes the Wei tribe dare not invade easily? Tianwang sat on the high dragon chair and narrowed his eyes slightly, revealing a hint of pride. Yes, His Majesty Tianwang. This is the perfect opportunity for our Sakura nation to unify Blue Star. The Wei tribe only does not attack us, which means they intend to cooperate with us. Maybe they have been forced by Your Majesty Tianwang. Impressed by his temperament, everyone agreed, with flattering smiles on their faces. Yoshi, Ono-kun, then the honor and disgrace of our Sakura country will be entrusted to you. You must seize this opportunity and lead our Sakura country to glory. His Majesty Tianwang was overjoyed and his expression became serious. Hi, please rest assured, His Majesty Tianwang, I will go all out to ensure the completion of the mission. Long live His Majesty Tianwang. Long live the Sakura country. Ono knelt on the ground and shouted loudly, with a firm light shining in his eyes. Under the ravages of the Kuei clan, the population of Blue Star has dropped sharply, from the original 10 billion to 7 billion. Moreover, more people continue to become food for the Kuei clan. Faced with such a severe situation, many people united to resist the invasion of the Kuei tribe. In the West, several powerful countries, including the United States, quickly formed the Western Alliance to jointly deal with this crisis. However, China is facing a huge dilemma. Tutors from various colleges and universities led students to fight to the death against the Kuei tribe, but this approach will undoubtedly make these students die in vain. Because the Kuei clan is so powerful, and the lowest realm is the Great Emperor realm, these students cannot compete with them at all. As a result, a large number of students died. Within a few miles of the Chen family, there was not a single figure of the Wei clan. But this does not mean that they give up. On the contrary, they believe that fighting is the best way to test their strength and improve their combat effectiveness. Therefore, the children of the Chen family and the Lin family, with Tiandu as the core, rushed out like nuclear bombs, mercilessly annihilating the Wei clan. Chen's house, Chen Ling's room. Inside the Wanling banner, Yi Tianju's soul was being tied up by circles of iron chains. On the iron chains, there was a mysterious power that was constantly emitting, torturing his soul. Chen Ling walked over and put his face in front of Yi Tianju. Tisk, tisk, how does it taste? Yi Tianju suddenly opened his eyes and saw the person coming. The light of hatred kept bursting out. It's you. If you let me out, I will make your life worse than death. Chen Ling smiled jokingly. Let me die. Haha, you can't do it in this life. Oh, by the way, not even in the next life, because you don't have a next life. Yi Tianju's pupils widened. I will completely kill your soul. Then my pet beast will devour your soul fragments one by one. Do you think, will you have another life? Chen Ling said harshly. Fear continued to amplify in Yi Tianju's heart. He wanted to struggle, but was restrained by the thick iron chain. Nirvana, Chen Ling murmured softly. Suddenly, within the 10,000 spirits banner, a terrifying strangulation force erupted, and the space became blood-red and looked like hell. Countless sharp blades emerged from the iron chain, piercing into Yi Tianju's soul. Ah, ah, Yi Tianju roared, but he could do nothing. He could only watch his soul body being chopped into pieces bit by bit. Come out for dinner, Chen Ling shouted softly. The heavenly demon mosquito flew out, eating Yi Tianju's soul fragments bite by bite. After completely killing Yi Tianju, the system's rewards were also distributed. Ding! Congratulations to the host for killing the high-level Son of Luck, the rewards are being distributed. Ding! Congratulations to the host for receiving the rewards. Realm Improvement Card X2, Intermediate Guard Card X1, Venerable Realm 3-Minute Experience Card X1, and Subordinate Improvement Card. Most of the rewards this time are to increase combat power, but for the situation at hand, this reward is just right. Use the Realm Upgrade card. As soon as Chen Ling finished speaking, the 2 Realm Upgrade cards turned into energy fragments and merged into his body. In an instant, the aura on Chen Ling's body continued to rise. Just after breaking through to the early stage of the Emperor realm, the terrifying calamity thunder was gathering in the sky above the Chen family. Suddenly, the world changed drastically. Countless people have their eyes on the Chen family, with curiosity, doubts, and fear. At this time, the tribulation thunder suddenly disappeared, everything became calm again, and the Wei clan began to fight again, as if nothing had happened. Above the clouds, the little lowly threatened, "You can't hurt anyone related to Chen Ling. Otherwise, Tiandao nodded weakly. These days, a realm above the Emperor realm has appeared. Logically speaking, he should drive it out of the blue star. However, after many threats from the little Lolita, he did not dare to move any more. Otherwise, the Tiandao Palace would be blown away. He did not expel Uther either, just in case he offended some great being again. That would be cool. Chen Ling's momentum paused for a moment, but then, like a volcano erupting, it began to surge again. Ancestor Emperor Realm Midterm. Ancestor Emperor Realm Late Stage. Ancestor Emperor Realm is complete. People Venerable Realm Early Stage. People Venerable Realm Midterm. People Venerable Realm Late Stage. People Venerable Realm is complete. Until the Venerable Realm was completed, Chen Ling's momentum still did not stop and continued to soar. Finally, when his momentum broke through to the early stage of the Venerable Realm, the terrifying energy was finally stopped. Chen Ling himself was shocked. He didn't expect that he could break through so many realms at once this time. You know, how much realm you can improve depends entirely on luck. But this time, he simply had great luck, reaching perfection directly from the Divine Emperor realm to the early stage of the earthly Venerable realm. This saved ordinary people thousands of years of hard work. Not only that, this improvement does not have any side effects. Instead, it makes his foundation deeper and his strength stronger, even stronger than people in the same realm. Use the intermediate guard summoning card, Chen Ling said without any hesitation. As his words fell, a mysterious vortex door slowly emerged. Immediately afterwards, a figure walked out of the whirlpool door. This figure is dressed in black magic armor and a mysterious mask, with a tall and majestic posture. Ding! Congratulations to the host, you successfully summoned the early guards of the Venerable Realm. The system prompt sounded. Chen Ling felt happy and said to the guard in front of him, "From now on, you will be called Wu Ming." "Wu Ming meets you, young master. I am willing to go through fire and water for you." Wu Ming Shan knelt on his knees and replied in a low and respectful voice. Chen Ling nodded with satisfaction and waved for Wu Ming to leave. Then, Chen Ling turned his attention to the subordinate promotion card, and his heart was full of expectations. He remembered that he had used such a card once before, and that time his subordinates were greatly improved. Use your subordinates to improve your card, Chen Ling shouted without hesitation. As soon as he finished speaking, the subordinate promotion card instantly turned into several bright streams of light, flying in all directions like meteors. These streams of light seemed to be alive, speeding away in different directions. At the same time, at the training place where Xie Ziqing and others were practicing, those streams of light quietly penetrated into their bodies. These streams of light seemed to contain endless power, which was continuously injected into their bodies, causing their cultivation to continue to rise. They also realized that this was Chen Ling's handiwork, so they closed their eyes to channel their strength and improve their cultivation. The same is true for those summoned characters. And Ji Chengge, this guy is really lucky. Chen Ling planted a demon in his heart on a whim, which actually made him a strong man. Now his subordinates are increasingly unable to keep up with him. If Chen Ling breaks through too fast, there will be no one around him to accompany him in the battle. By then, he may be lonely. But in Chen Ling's view, that doesn't exist. He seems to have found his way, to prove it through killing. Having someone by his side, in the final analysis, just adds a bit of humanity and fun. This time, the subordinate promotion cards exploded. All of Chen Ling's subordinates were promoted to the human Venerable Realm. And the original Venerable Realm guard was also promoted to the Earth Venerable Realm. As for Wu Ming, he reached the perfection of the Heavenly Venerable Realm. Tiandu. In a hidden corner, a group of dwarf mules were hiding. They were nervously watching the Kuei clan who were fighting fiercely in the distance. These strange people are tall and ferocious in appearance, making people shudder. "Oh no, Kun. Do we have to go directly to the leader of the Wei tribe?" A subordinate from the Sakura kingdom asked cautiously. There was a hint of fear and worry in his eyes. Ono thought for a moment and replied firmly. "We don't have enough strength to negotiate with them yet. Moreover, now that China has no time to take care of us, this is a good time for us to act. We should conquer those aristocratic families first and strengthen our own power." Yoshi. That's right. Another subordinate agreed. Then, which family should we start with? Ono's eyes scanned the surrounding environment, and finally stopped in an area shrouded in mysterious aura. There seems to be a special existence there, and even the Wei tribe dare not set foot in it easily. Let's conquer that family. Ono pointed to that area and said, with a greedy light in his eyes. I think those weird tribes don't dare to approach there, which means there must be something special about this family. If we can conquer it, they might be able to get some valuable resources or secrets. The group of people didn't hesitate at all and immediately moved in the direction pointed by Ono. They walked through the gloomy woods, avoiding the sight of the Wei tribe, and quietly approached the target. And the place Ono pointed to was the Chen family. Ono-kun, look at how glorious this family is. Will they agree to surrender to us? One of them asked worriedly. Ono smiled proudly, with a trace of disdain flashing in his eyes. So what? Our Sakura country is at its peak now, I believe they will not appreciate it. He said confidently, as if he had seen the Chen family surrender. The scene at the foot of Sakura country. Then, he swaggered to the door of Chen's house, paused for a moment, brewed his emotions, and then shouted loudly. We are the envoys of Sakura country. Why don't you, a small family, come and greet us quickly? The voice echoed in the air, with a kind of arrogance. However, at this moment, everyone in the Chen family opened their eyes, including Chen Ling. The corners of Chen Ling's mouth raised slightly, revealing a disdainful smile. With a sweep of his mind, he discovered the situation outside the door. It turns out to be a pig from Sakura country. How brave you are to dare to attack our Chen family, he murmured to himself, his voice full of ridicule. In the blink of an eye, all the Chen family and Lin family appeared outside the house, surrounding Ono and others. Their eyes showed hostility, and they stared coldly at the Sakura people in front of them. Ono and the others were flustered for a moment, but they quickly calmed down, straightened their clothes, and then deliberately coughed loudly twice to attract everyone's attention. He pretended to be calm and said, Ahem. Everyone, your welcome ceremony is really grand. But let's get down to business. He straightened his body and continued with an arrogant look, we are here to conquer your little family this time. Surrendering to our Sakura country will be your wisest and most correct choice. Only in this way can you get better development and protection. However, the people of the Chen family and the Lin family did not respond. They just looked at them quietly, with disdain and contempt in their eyes. At this moment, a figure walked out of the crowd. It was Chen Tianao. With a joking smile on his face, he looked directly at Ono and the others, and sneered, Sakura country. Isn't it the country that was beaten into a dog by me, China? What, now you want to make a comeback? Hearing this, Ono's face instantly turned gloomy, and he gritted his teeth and retorted, Huh. Sir, I don't know what you are talking about. Those so-called histories are all false. Our Sakura country has always been strong and inviolable. Ono tried to deny the failure and humiliation and wanted to cover up the truth. But everyone present knew the truth, and they felt extremely disgusted by Ono's deceptive behavior. Everyone's face showed anger and contempt. At this time, a sword light flashed across like lightning, and all the Sakura people behind Ono were beheaded at this moment. Chen Ling walked slowly through the void and faced Xiaoyi directly. The splattered blood dripped on Ono's face, making his expression extremely ferocious and frightened. Baga. How dare you treat our envoy from Sakura country like this? You are really impatient. However, Chen Ling just responded calmly, so what? Sakura country. It's just a small island country, it can be destroyed easily. Ono was furious and shouted, Baga. The great Emperor Tianwang will never let you go. Chen Ling sneered and said disdainfully, Haha. Sakura country. I will visit this country myself. As for you, go to hell now. Before he finished speaking, Chen Ling took action without hesitation, killing Xiaoyi into a ball of blood mist with one sword. Xiao Ling, what are your plans for Sakura country? Chen Tianao asked. Chen Ling took back the blood sword, stood upright in the air, turned his head slightly, revealed his sharp eyes, and said coldly, on March 8 next year, I will ride on the sky to enjoy the cherry blossoms. In an instant, Chen Ling was filled with murderous intent and headed straight for Sakura country. China is close to the sea, and in the sky, a figure speeds past like lightning. The speed is so fast that it even triggers a sonic boom, and a deafening roar echoes in the sky. This sudden spectacle attracted the attention of countless people. They looked up one after another, trying to trace the trace of the figure. And that person who was galloping was none other than Chen Ling. After a short flight, Chen Ling finally arrived at his destination, a small island by the sea. This is the territory of Sakura country. However, unlike the raging wars imagined, the island is peaceful and peaceful. The people of Sakura country are still living a normal life. Some people focus on practicing while others are busy filming movies. They did not seem to realize that the threat was approaching and were not alert to the coming killings. Chen Ling stood in the air, overlooking the scene below, with a cold smile on his lips. He whispered to himself, "Since we haven't been invaded by the Wei tribe. Haha, how can that be done? Let me give you a big gift." As the words fell, Chen Ling's chaotic godfiend body instantly opened up, and a terrifying aura emanated from him. The early cultivation of Venerable Realm exploded with all its strength, forming a powerful pressure that enveloped the entire island. The Godfiend Law manifestation has arrived. Compared with before, the Godfiend Law manifestation has now become a giant shadow that reaches the sky. It is the sky in the true sense. After all, with the improvement of cultivation level, Godfiend Law manifestation naturally becomes stronger. In the blink of an eye, darkness enveloped the entire Sakura country, causing those in Sakura country to be confused. Nani, why did it suddenly get dark? I know. There must be a great opportunity for our Sakura country. Searched to death. Just when they were silent in their fantasy, Chen Ling took action, and the Godfiend Law manifestation slowly came forward. In an instant, the mysterious law manifestation's face came into Sakura man's eyes. Baga, what the hell is this? At this moment, the people of Sakura country were all stunned. They looked blankly at the Godfiend Law manifestation in the sky, their faces full of fear and despair. What kind of monster is this? What is it going to do? Is it going to destroy our Sakura country? What to do? What should we do? The people of Sakura country panicked and fled, trying to find a safe place to escape this disaster. However, no matter where they fled, the Godfiend Law manifestation always followed them, shrouding the entire Sakura country. Chen Ling stood in the clouds, looking indifferently at the panicked crowd below. He has no mercy at all. He has only endless indifference towards these people who have hurt Hua Sha. This is the punishment you deserve, Chen Ling said coldly. As his words fell, Godfiend Law manifestation began to attack. A huge palm fell from the sky and hit the ground like a mountain crushing an egg. The buildings of Sakura country were instantly destroyed, and countless Sakura country people were buried in the ruins. Chen Ling continued to cast spells, and Godfiend Law manifestation's attacks became more and more fierce. Elemental powers such as fire, frost, thunder and lightning continued to pour out from the law manifestation and sweep across the entire Sakura kingdom. The people of Sakura country were terrified and fled in all directions, but there was nowhere to hide. Ah, help, who will save us? Is this the end of the world? The people of Sakura country were crying one after another, and the whole country fell into chaos and panic. Chen Ling, on the other hand, stood quietly in the clouds, watching everything that happened in front of him indifferently. Under Chen Ling's attack, the land of Sakura country became beyond recognition, the city turned into ruins, and people were displaced. This once prosperous country has now become a purgatory, and Chen Ling is the master of this purgatory. Your Majesty Tianwang, something bad is going to happen. Kirito Taro quickly opened the door of Tianwang's bedroom and rushed in. He said anxiously. And Tianwang was lying in the gentle countryside unable to extricate himself. He woke up instantly after hearing the sound. He widened his eyes and shouted angrily, Baga! Who is so bold and dares to disturb my rest? Kirito knelt on the ground in a panic, and said tremblingly, Your Majesty Tianwang, please forgive me. I really have something urgent to report. Tianwang frowned impatiently and asked displeased Ly, What's so urgent? Say it quickly. Kirito took a deep breath and replied nervously, Your Majesty Tianwang, a huge unknown creature has appeared in the sky above our Sakura country. Nani? Tianwang's face was full of questions, suspecting that he heard wrongly. Yes, Your Majesty Tianwang. That creature is like a demon, huge in size, and exudes a frightening aura. It has already taken action against our Sakura Empire. The situation is urgent, Kirito explained with a solemn expression. Tianwang's face changed, and he quickly sat up from the bed and asked eagerly, "What on earth is this? How did it appear in the sky above our country?" Kuritaro shook his head and said helplessly, "It's not clear yet." Tianwang suddenly felt a chill coming over him, and a layer of cold sweat broke out on his forehead. He knew that once such an unknown creature launched an attack, it would bring devastating disaster to the entire country. At this moment, a loud noise suddenly came from outside, boom. The whole city was shaking, as if an earthquake was coming. The glass of countless high-rise buildings was shattered, making crisp cracking sounds. Tianwang didn't care about anything else and hurriedly opened the curtains to see what was going on. However, when he looked out the window, he was shocked to find that at some point, the sky in the entire Sakura kingdom had become dark. The huge figure kept waving its huge palms, and every time it fell, it would cause the tragic death of a large number of Sakura people. It was as if the end of the world was coming, and a hellish scene unfolded before our eyes. Baga ya road. Tianwang gritted his teeth and spat out these words angrily, with veins popping up all over his face, and endless anger and hatred flashing in his eyes. "Quick, organize a counterattack immediately," Tianwang shouted loudly and anxiously. "Hi." Kuritaro hurriedly took out his mobile phone from his pocket and quickly called the Sakura Country Self-Defense Force. Moxie. Yes, counterattack immediately. Hit the enemy hard." After experiencing the battle in the secret realm of the college entrance examination last time, Chenling once again felt the pleasure of killing. He has no mercy in his heart, even though there are many innocent people below. However, one thing makes him extremely determined: they are all Sakura people, and their sins are unpardonable. Godfiend is forbidden, Chenling murmured softly. The domain enveloped the Sakura country. Those with stronger cultivation were suppressed. Those with no cultivation or low cultivation were directly lifted up by the fierce pressure. "Don't start." With a wave of his hand, the blood sword was sacrificed, constantly shuttled among the crowd, harvesting the lives of Sakura people. Blood splashed, heads fell to the ground, blooming like flowers from hell. "Baga, how dare you treat our Sakura empire like this? Are you tired of living?" At this time, a group of people rushed out, all holding martial warrior knives in their hands and wearing turbans. "It's our self-defense force of Sakura country." When the people of Sakura country saw the people coming, they thought they were saved and were overjoyed. They knew that this was the elite force of Sakura country, and each of them was a battle-experienced warrior. Their appearance filled the hearts of these Sakura people with hope. Chapter 91. The members of the self-defense force acted quickly. They divided into several groups and launched an attack on Chenling. One group of self-defense force members, armed with shields and spears, formed a solid line of defense in an attempt to stop Chenling's advance. They are closely arranged together, forming an impenetrable barrier. The other group placed light waves on the side and shot from a distance, trying to cause damage to Chenling. They aimed at Chenling's vital parts and fired powerful energy rays, hoping to hit the target. Another group held swords and flew into the sky to fight Chenling. They were hovering in the air, looking for Chenling's flaws and preparing to deliver a fatal blow. Chenling looked at these self-defense force members with a disdainful smile on his face. He gently waved the blood sword in his hand, and a sword energy flew out instantly, cutting a self-defense force member in half. Upon seeing this, other members of the self-defense forces retreated in horror, but they did not give up and continued to attack Chenling. Chenling waved his blood sword, and sharp sword energy flew out from the sword, falling densely among the self-defense force members like raindrops. Every sword energy carried a biting chill and a fatal threat. The members of the self-defense forces were horrified to find that no matter how they avoided or defended, these sword energies followed closely behind them like gangrene in their bones. Although the members of the self-defense forces resisted vigorously, their strength was a world of difference compared to Chenling. The weapons in their hands looked so fragile in front of Chenling's blood sword and were easily cut off. Chenling's movements were quick and accurate, and each sword hit the target accurately. The members of the self-defense force fell one after another, and the ground was dyed red with blood. Under Chenling's massacre, the members of the self-defense forces gradually lost confidence. Their originally firm eyes turned to confusion and fear. Facing Chenling's terrifying strength, they felt that their efforts were in vain. They began to doubt whether they could really defeat such an enemy, and their hearts were filled with despair. The Sakura people felt even more desperate when they saw that their country's elite troops could not resist Qianling's attack. They once placed high hopes on the self-defense forces, believing them to be a force that protects the country and its people. But now, they witnessed the defeat of the self-defense forces with their own eyes, and their hopes were shattered. At this moment, a roar came. "You dare to act so unbridled in our Sakura Empire? You must die." The roar was like thunder, deafening. Following this roar, a tall, middle-aged man wearing gorgeous armor appeared in front of Qianling. He held a huge sword in his hand, and his eyes revealed a fierce light. Qianling looked at the middle-aged man in front of him and raised the corners of his mouth slightly, revealing a sarcastic smile. He knew that this person should be one of the strong men in Sakura country. However, Qianling didn't take it seriously. The middle-aged man waved the sword in his hand and slashed at Qianling. Qianling stretched out 2 fingers and clamped the sword. At the same time, he swung the blood sword and slashed with one strike. The middle-aged man was instantly chopped into blood mist. In fact, there are not too many strong people in Sakura country, because all resources and power are monopolized by Beautiful Country. In order to better control Sakura country, Beautiful Country will never allow any strong person to appear in Sakura country. This moment makes people feel a little ridiculous. Sakura country is like a humble clown, willing to work for the Beautiful Country, but it does not get the rewards it deserves, not even a morsel of dog food. After the self-defense forces were completely wiped out, Sakura country completely lost the ability to fight back. And Tenwang could only watch his citizens being brutally massacred. "Baga, is our Sakura country going to perish today?" Tianwang muttered to himself, his voice full of despair and helplessness. He tried to escape, but under the cover of that extremely powerful realm, he had nowhere to escape. He could only sit back and wait for death to come. Heavenly Demon Mosquito. Enjoy this feast. Qianling waved his hand and released the Heavenly Demon Mosquito. As soon as the Heavenly Demon Mosquito appeared and saw the corpse below, it immediately screamed with excitement and flew down to swallow the blood. As for the soul, it did not move. "It's so boring. I can't fight back at all," Qianling said boredly. Chaos is extinguished. In an instant, 2 rays of energy gathered in Qianling's eyes, and 2 black and white light beams shot out. Landing at the center of Sakura country, the attack immediately spread mainly from the center until the entire Sakura country and buildings were razed to the ground. Only corpses were left on the ground. As for the so-called Tianwang, Qianling never paid any attention to it and killed him casually. This must be the most aggrieved death for Tianwang. The 10,000 Spirits banner. "Appear." As Qianling shouted, he waved his hand to call out the 10,000 Spirits flag. A black light flashed past, and the 10,000 Spirits flag fluttered in the wind and made a hunting sound. Immediately afterwards, a powerful devouring power surged out from the 10,000 Spirits flag, like a huge black hole, tearing out all the souls of the Sakura man. These souls are densely packed and countless, as if forming a soul sea. Vaguely, you can see those souls struggling in fear, their faces distorted, and their bodies constantly deforming, trying to escape from this terrifying devouring force. However, in the end they were still unable to escape and were all swallowed up into the Wanling banner. Looking at this scene, Qianling raised the corners of his mouth slightly, revealing a cold smile. "Let the 10,000 spirit flags become the real weapon of the dead this time." His voice resounded throughout the space, with a kind of determination. The Wanling banner began to refine the souls inside. It did not destroy these souls, but preserved them in a special way. These souls struggled painfully inside the All Souls banner, enduring endless torture. Qianling wants them to be his helpers and let them atone for their past crimes. At the same time, the corpses of those Sakura people suffered another fate. The heavenly demon mosquitoes pounced on these corpses eagerly, greedily sucking their blood. In the blink of an eye, all the corpses were drained of blood and turned into shriveled mummies. The original prosperity of Sakura country disappeared in an instant, leaving only silence and ruins. Everything happened so quickly that people were caught off guard. Qianling stood quietly among the ruins, feeling the deathly silence and desolation around him. After everything was done, Qianling flew to the highest altitude, looked at the island, and said sternly, "A country full of sin should not exist." After saying that, Qianling ran the Chaos Godfiend body with all his strength, converging all his strength into one palm of the Godfiend law manifestation. Suddenly, the palm became extremely huge, like a mountain peak, capable of holding the entire island. Immediately afterwards, the giant palm struck down hard with endless pressure, making a deafening roar. The island of Sakura country was instantly shattered into pieces and turned into countless gravel and dust. Finally, these wreckage sank in the vast sea and disappeared without a trace. From this moment on, there will no longer be the name Sakura country on Blue Star. Chen Ling withdrew the heavenly demon mosquito and then sped away in the direction of Hua Sha. There is a group of strange people waiting for him to kill. China, this once prosperous and lively country, is now shrouded in deathly silence. The streets and alleys were deserted, with only some bloodstains and wreckage, proving that a brutal massacre had occurred here. Those once vivid lives have now become delicacies in the mouths of the Kuei tribe. The remaining survivors were hiding in dark and damp corners, shivering, waiting for death to come. In the past, some people might have been shocked by these scenes, but now, everyone has long been numb. The law of the jungle, survival of the fittest, these 8 words have been deeply engraved in everyone's heart. In this cruel world, there is no sympathy, no pity, only endless killing and bloodshed. Countless people lost their homes and were in exile. The ferocious faces and cruel methods of the Kuei clan were like a shadow, deeply imprinted in the depths of their minds. Every night, they wake up from nightmares, dripping with cold sweat, and continue to face the horrors of reality. Some people choose to escape, while others choose to resist, but the end result is the same, death. Chen Ling was flying in the sky of China, overlooking the land below. His eyes were cold and there was no emotion in his heart. He thought of the novels he had read in his previous life, which always depicted some heroic and fearless saviors who saved mankind from dire straits. But when he truly transmigrated into this world, he realized that the so-called savior was just a fantasy that people had before they died. In this world, no one can save everyone, only yourself can save yourself. Why must we rely on others? As long as we have absolutely strong strength, we can face all challenges without fear. Moreover, those people below have nothing to do with me. Saving them once means saving them countless times. Chen Ling did not want to be bound by the so-called righteousness and morality, nor did he want to live such a hypocritical life. After careful consideration, Chen Ling's eyes became firmer. It is better to teach a man to fish than to teach him to fish. Perhaps influenced by his past life experience, he still retains some emotion for China in his heart. If many people can survive this time, I don't mind using that reward to help them. Chen Ling murmured in a low voice. Hua Sha capital, an ancient and prosperous city, next to a ruins, a mysterious figure quietly appeared. She was wearing a black cloak, which completely shrouded herself in shadow, making it impossible for anyone to see his face clearly. Behind her, there was a group of people also wearing black robes, but their faces were also covered, and only vague outlines could be seen. Han Xia stood there quietly, her eyes cold and deep, as if they could penetrate all the fog. She raised her head slightly and looked at the ruins in front of her, feeling an indescribable emotion well up in her heart. What's the situation of the Chen family now? Han Xia asked calmly, with a hint of majesty in her voice. Holy Saint, no one dares to provoke the Chen family now, not even the Wei clan. A man in black replied respectfully, his voice low and hoarse. Han Xia nodded slightly, a thoughtful look flashing in his eyes. Since joining the Dark Temple, she has shown extraordinary talent and strength. She was quickly recognized by the top management and was awarded the title of saint. After being baptized by the Holy Pool, she successfully broke through to the early stage of the Divine Emperor realm and became a truly strong person. However, if this realm were placed in the past, it might have caused some sensation, but now, the world has undergone earth-shaking changes. People often say, saints are not as good as dogs. The holy kings walk everywhere, the great sage trembles 3 times, the great emperor heavenly emperor does not take action, and the god emperors and ancestor emperors keep coming. In this era, although the god emperor realm is still powerful, it is no longer it is an invincible existence. Blue Star has experienced this change and has completely risen. Countless strong men emerged, and various mysterious powers and treasures appeared one after another. The world has become more dangerous and full of challenges, but at the same time it also breeds unlimited opportunities. Chen Ling, just how you killed Brother Ji Yu that day, I will kill you today just like that. Han Xia's eyes were red, and she was filled with hatred, and she said through gritted teeth. At this time, in the sky above the Chen family, Chen Ling had just flown here and was about to land when he suddenly spotted the sneaky figures of Han Xia and others. I couldn't help but feel a trace of curiosity in my heart. Interesting. Han Xia, the former mentor, one of Ji Yu Chenggi's harem. Tisk, tisk, are you here to take revenge from me? He held his hands and quietly watched their every move from high in the sky. Han Xia and others carefully sneaked into the high wall of the Chen family. Just as they were about to leap into the Chen family, they suddenly felt an invisible force stopping them. What? There is a restriction outside the Chen family. No, we have been discovered, Han Xia said in shock. Suddenly, a voice came, as loud as a bell, echoing around. The children of the Chen family and the Lin family quickly moved to surround them, forming a tight encirclement. What a sneaky little rat. Are you planning something against our Chen family? This voice was full of majesty and domineering, making people feel fearful. Han Xia was about to explain, but was interrupted by Chen Ling high in the sky. He landed slowly on the ground, with a confident smile on his lips, and said, "Ha ha, Dad, leave these people to me." Han Xia heard the sound and looked away, her eyes locked on Chen Ling. Chen Ling's rebellious face was deeply impressed into her eyes, as if engraved in the depths of her soul. She could never forget that expression, that face. It's you, Chen Ling. Han Xia's anger suddenly surged into her heart, her eyes fixed on Chen Ling, sparks of hatred flashing in her eyes. Long time no see, Teacher Han, but why have you turned into such a ghost? Chen Ling raised the corners of his mouth slightly with a hint of teasing smile, teasing Han Xia. Han Xia shook her head suddenly and pulled off her cloak, completely exposing her true face. Her face was covered with hideous scars from burns, crisscrossing and shocking. The once beautiful face no longer existed, replaced by an ugly and distorted face. Chen Ling, thanks to you, you killed my most beloved person. I endured all kinds of torture and finally reached the state I am in today. Today, kill you. Han Xia flew into the air, and her divine emperor realm cultivation was released. Chen Ling looked at Han Xia and sneered, your beloved. Sorry, I don't know. After all, I have killed so many people. Maybe it was just an ant I killed casually. Han Xia's face turned gloomy after hearing this. She gritted her teeth and said, remember. His name is Ji Yu Chengge. If it weren't for you, he should have been able to shine in this great world. Oh, it's him. That kid who can't defeat me but still tries to kill me with the Emperor Realm Sword Spirit. Chen Ling said disdainfully. But, he should die. It was too happy to let him die. He should be tortured. Chen Ling muttered to himself, completely ignoring Han Xia. Han Xia was furious and turned her hands in front of her. Countless black daggers appeared in front of her eyes, densely packed and emitting cold light. Each dagger carries a sharp aura, as if it wants to tear the air apart. Chen Ling, just go and bury Brother Ji Yu with him. Han Xia shouted with a crazy light in her eyes. As she finished speaking, countless daggers fell straight towards Chen Ling like raindrops. Chen Ling's face instantly turned cold. He moved his neck and made a crisp sound. Then, he flicked his finger, and a powerful force shot out from his fingertips, colliding with those daggers. Boom! There was a loud noise, and smoke filled the air, blocking everyone's sight. Han Xia was overjoyed, thinking that her attack had succeeded. However, when the smoke slowly dissipated, she was surprised to find Chen Ling standing unharmed. How is that possible? Aren't you still in the Holy Realm? Even if your talent is incredible. At most, you are only in the Great Emperor Realm. How could? Han Xia's eyes widened, her face full of disbelief. She couldn't accept this reality because in her impression, Chen Ling's cultivation level should still be in the Holy Realm. But now, Chen Ling's strength showed far beyond her imagination. Because she had been in seclusion for a long time, she didn't know much about the outside world. Therefore, she knew nothing about Chen Ling's true cultivation. In her opinion, Chen Ling's cultivation should still be in the Holy Realm, which was one of the reasons why she dared to attack Chen Ling. However, The facts before her completely overturned her understanding and plunged her into deep self-doubt. Haha, daring to underestimate me is the biggest mistake you made today. Also, I don't like to look up at people, so I have to let you down. Chen Ling said indifferently. As he stretched out his hand to grasp, an invisible force enveloped Han Xia. She suddenly fell from the air uncontrollably and fell directly into Chen Ling's control. Chen Ling easily pinched her neck. Saint! The members of the Dark Temple nearby couldn't help but exclaimed when they saw this. However, Chen Ling just turned his head slightly, a cold light flashing in his eyes. In an instant, the members of the Dark Temple seemed to be hit by an invisible force, and their bodies turned into ashes. They did not even make any sound, and just disappeared into the air silently. How could you be so strong? Han Xia stared at Chen Ling with eyes wide open and an expression of disbelief on her face, muttering to herself. Why am I so strong? If you knew, I would probably scare you to death. Chen Ling had an evil smile on his lips, with a hint of joking in his tone. Actually, if you hadn't come to provoke me, maybe you wouldn't have died. It's a pity that you ruined your life for such a man. Chen Ling's eyes narrowed, and his fingers gradually tightened, and Han Xia's face changed. Getting paler and paler. Haha. You dare to kill me? Han Xia breathed hard and said these words intermittently, with a hint of provocation and unwillingness in her eyes. I don't dare to kill you. What a joke. I, Chen Ling, have killed countless people. I don't dare to kill you. Chen Ling raised the corners of his mouth slightly, revealing a cold smile, and his eyes flashed with indifference. You have no idea how powerful my Dark Temple is. Our palace master is the most powerful person from all the heavens. Those weird tribes don't even pay attention to it. Just you, Chen Ling, and a small Chen family. Han Xia gritted her teeth and glared at Chen Ling, trying to scare him with words. However, Chen Ling was unmoved. He looked at Han Xia quietly, with a trace of disdain in his eyes. At this moment, Han Xia suddenly emitted a strange light, and a powerful aura emerged from her body. At the same time, in her mind, a majestic voice sounded, "Betray me. You will be punished." Han Xia suddenly panicked, her body began to tremble violently, and her face became as pale as paper. Her eyes widened in horror, and she murmured to herself, "No. Palace Master, I was wrong. I am sincere to the Dark Temple." However, before she could finish her plea for mercy, she was enveloped by that mysterious power, and her body instantly turned into a pool of blood, flowing on the ground. Chen Ling looked at this scene expressionlessly and wiped his hands gently, as if nothing had happened just now. He said lightly, "What a mentally retarded girl. She exposed her own power information and was killed without me taking action. Tisk tisk. Dark Temple, if you come to provoke me, I don't mind killing them all." Underground in China, in a dark and humid place, countless bones piled up like mountains, emitting a disgusting smell. In this pile of bones, there is a huge throne composed of skeletons, with a tall figure sitting on it. His whole body exudes a dark aura, and his eyes look down coldly. This person is Uther, the king of the Wei tribe. Next to him stood Ebony, also exuding a powerful dark aura, quietly waiting for Uther's order. At this time, the person kneeling below was a white-skinned man. He was wearing gorgeous clothes and looked like an extraordinary person. This person is Stephen, the messenger from the beautiful country. Stephen said respectfully, "King Wu, you see, our beautiful country is willing to cooperate with you and rule the entire Blue Star together. As long as you agree, we can provide various resources and support. We only ask that you provide us with shelter." Uther's fingers gently tapped the skull throne, making a crisp sound, as if he was thinking about something. Stephen swallowed nervously, with an anxious look on his face, waiting for Uther's answer. After a while, Uther finally spoke slowly, "Well, I accept your proposal, but remember, don't play any tricks in front of me. Otherwise, you should know the consequences." Stephen nodded quickly to express his understanding. Uther continued, "From now on, you must obey my command and not act without authorization. If anyone dares to disobey my order, just wait to be devoured by my army of Wei clan." Stephen once again expressed his obedience and promised to convey Uther's words to the top officials in the country. Just when Steve was about to leave after discussing cooperation, the entire underground began to shake violently. This sudden change caught everyone off guard. Steve also stopped and looked around cautiously. Suddenly, the rock above the head cracked, and with a loud noise, a huge rock fell down, raising a cloud of dust. Gradually, a dazzling white light penetrated into the ground, causing Uther and others to squint their eyes. After a while, after everyone got used to the light, they took a closer look. This actually opened the ceiling of the Kuei clan. And that light is the sunlight coming from outside. And the person who took action was none other than Chen Ling. I saw him standing on a high place, overlooking the people below, with a playful smile on his lips. Use, long time no see. Chen Ling's voice spread throughout the space. Hearing this familiar voice, Uther's expression changed, and he gritted his teeth and said, "It's you. Why, you think you can beat me?" However, Chen Ling ignored his provocation and turned his attention to Stephen standing aside. He laughed jokingly. Uther, don't you, the Kuei clan, claim to rule Blue Star? Why, now you are cooperating with a white-skinned dog. This lowers the status of your Kuei clan." Listening to Chen Ling's sarcastic words, User's expression changed slightly, but he quickly regained his composure and did not become angry because of Chen Ling's words. However, Stephen, who was standing next to Uther, began to act arrogantly. "HMPH, you must be Chen Ling from the Chen family. You are indeed an ignorant boy. Don't you know that children should not interfere in adults' affairs?" Stephen pointed at Chen Ling and scolded arrogantly. Chen Ling slowly turned his gaze to him, with a hint of coldness and disdain in his eyes. At this moment, Stephen seemed to see something terrible, his face instantly turned pale, and his breathing became rapid. Immediately afterwards, a powerful force pressed down on him like a mountain crushing an egg. With a loud bang, Stephen fell to his knees involuntarily, and his knees slammed into the ground, smashing out a small of potholes. His body was trembling, and his head slowly drooped, as if suppressed by an invisible mountain, unable to move. Steve's face was distorted with pain, his eyes were full of fear and despair, and he shouted at the top of his lungs, "Lord King Wei, save me!" Ah! However, Uther did not look at him, all his attention was focused on Chen Ling. He was keenly aware that Chen Ling seemed different from before, as if something had changed and he had become stronger. To be a dog, you must have the awareness to be a dog. The masters are talking to each other, why are you interrupting? Chen Ling said. The force exerted on his hands became stronger and stronger. With a playful smile on his lips, he asked Uther, "Uther, are you right?" Uther's face changed a few times, but finally he showed a smile and nodded quickly. Yes, dogs should not put their master in the mouth. Stephen was completely desperate. His eyes widened and he looked at Chen Ling and User in disbelief. He never thought that he would be treated like this, let alone that Uther would treat him like this. However, before he could react, Chen Ling had already laughed, with a cold light flashing in his eyes. With a cold snort from him, Stephen's body suddenly exploded and turned into countless debris, with blood splattering everywhere. User stared at Chen Ling closely from beginning to end. He could not see through the mysterious young man in front of him. He secretly sighed that this young man's strength and resourcefulness far exceeded his imagination. At this moment, he realized that he had underestimated Chen Ling before, thinking that he could easily control the situation. Now it seems that everything is under Chen Ling's control. A black light flashed in Chen Ling's eyes. He turned to look at User and said unceremoniously, "King Gui, let me get straight to the point. It's still too late for you to retreat and take your people away from Blue Star. Otherwise, there is only death. One Piece." Uther was silent for a moment, his eyes flickering as if he was weighing the pros and cons. Wu Tong on the side wanted to say something, but when he thought of Stephen's tragic death just now, he was so scared that he shut his mouth and did not dare to say another word. This is absolutely impossible. Blue Star is a planet with rich resources and delicious blood food. We will never give up easily. Moreover, this passage was obviously opened by you Chinese people, Uther said firmly. Chen Ling did not respond, and the atmosphere instantly became extremely solemn. The two looked at each other silently, as if there were invisible forces colliding and fighting in the air. King Gui, if this is the case, then you have no choice but to die. Chen Ling's cold voice sounded, filled with murderous intent. The two of them launched attacks at the same time with a tacit understanding. In an instant, two light waves collided, and the rocks under the ground continued to explode. Chaos Godfiend body. Godfiend is coming. Chen Ling whispered. The Chaos Godfiend body was fully opened, and the Godfiend law manifestation stood behind him. User looked at Chen Ling solemnly. He originally thought that Chen Ling was just a little weaker than him, but now, things are not that simple. He found that Chen Ling seemed to be a venerable realm just like him. Wu Sei was confused. How could Chen Ling, who was a god in the Emperor realm before, break through to the venerable realm all of a sudden? He had to cross so many realms in a row. At this time, Uther did not dare to hesitate and also unleashed his maximum combat power. A bone knife appeared in his hand, biting cold and exuding evil light. Not to be outdone, Chen Ling sacrificed his bleeding sword and swung out a blade of light, slashing towards User. The battle between the two became increasingly fierce, and every confrontation caused violent vibrations in the surrounding space. Their powers intertwined with each other, forming a brilliant and colorful light that was dazzling. Uther waved the bone knife in his hand, and streaks of black sword light roared out, carrying an endless evil aura. These sword lights were flying in the air like ghosts, trying to tear Chen Ling into pieces. Chen Ling, on the other hand, was dancing his blood sword, and streaks of bloody sword energy crisscrossed and collided with User's sword light. Every collision will produce huge energy fluctuations, plunging the entire battlefield into chaos. Chen Ling took a deep breath, and the power of the chaotic Godfiend body exploded again, and the Godfiend law manifestation became even larger and more majestic. He waved his blood sword and performed a unique move, Godfiend Two Cuts. In an instant, the color of the sky and the earth changed, and countless chaotic sword energies gathered together to form a torrent that destroyed the heaven and earth. Two black and white sword lights swept towards Uther. Uther felt unprecedented pressure, and he resisted desperately, trying to block this terrifying force. However, he was eventually hit by Chen Ling's chaos sword technique and his body flew backwards. PFF'd. A mouthful of black blood spurted out from User's mouth. His face was as pale as paper, as if he had lost his vitality. Chen Ling's face was stern, his eyes flashed with cold light, and he walked towards User step by step. The bloody sword in his hand exuded a cold killing intent, as if it was about to tear the whole world apart. User looked at Chen Ling in horror, feeling unprecedented fear and pressure. Chen Ling raised his blood sword, preparing to give User the final blow. The blood on the sword flickered, as if foretelling Uther's fate. User gritted his teeth and raised the bone knife in his hand with all his strength, trying to block Chen Ling's attack. However, when the blood sword collided with the bone knife, a huge force burst out instantly, knocking Uther away. After Uther rolled several times in the air, he hit the rock hard, filled with smoke. Wu Tong on the side widened his eyes and looked at what was happening in front of him in disbelief. The strongest person in his heart, the king of the Kuei clan, was defeated so easily by Chen Ling. King, Wu Tong shouted anxiously, his voice full of worry and fear. The smoke gradually dissipated, revealing Uther's figure. He was blasted into the hard rock, and his body was deeply embedded in it, unable to move. His face was pale, his forehead was covered with sweat, and he was obviously in great pain. User opened his eyes with difficulty, and his eyes fell on Chen Ling. There was a hint of surprise and unwillingness in his eyes, as if he was shocked by Chen Ling's strength. Ahem, boy, I have to say, you are very strong. Uther coughed twice and struggled to get up from the rock. His body was covered with bloodstains and he was in a miserable state. But his eyes remained firm, showing no sign of surrender. Uther's body began to change, his muscles continued to expand, his bones became thicker, and a layer of fine scales appeared on the surface of his skin. His originally rickety body gradually straightened up, and his height also increased to about 3 meters. As his body changed, Uther's aura became stronger and stronger, and the surrounding air seemed to be distorted by his pressure. Uther moved his wrist, making a crackling sound, and laughed wildly at the same time, ha ha ha. Boy, you deserve to see my strongest body. Uther laughed, tore the last rag of his upper body, exposing his abdomen, and saw mysterious marks on his hands. He was talking in different languages, and suddenly, a black halo appeared in his abdomen, like a black hole, exuding devouring power. My people, the Kuei tribe is experiencing a life and death crisis. I need your power. Uther looked up at the sky and shouted. The sound seemed to spread far away, and all the Kuei tribes across Blue Star stopped attacking and chewing, and all looked towards China. Suddenly, these Wei people knelt on their knees and kept worshipping. At this moment, they all stretched out their sharp claws and thrust them into their hearts. Blood spurted out from the wound, but the Wei tribe showed no signs of pain, instead showing fanatical expressions. Black blood flowed down their arms, like a black torrent, slowly flowing to the ground, forming pools of black liquid. This weird scene shocked everyone who escaped. They looked at everything in front of them with wide eyes and couldn't believe their eyes. "What's going on with them?" a slightly injured Great Emperor Realm human asked in a trembling voice, his face full of fear and confusion. "I don't know, it seems to be performing some kind of ritual." Another human replied, with a hint of uneasiness in his eyes. "Did you hear a sound just now?" someone suddenly asked. "I heard it. It seems like something needs your power." "What does that mean?" others echoed, and they began to discuss this mysterious voice. At this time, the Kuei tribe all over Blue Star were doing the same thing. Their blood continued to flow out, converging into black rivers, and finally converging into a huge black ball. The black ball exudes a strange light, like a dark star from hell, which makes people shudder. It rises slowly and flies towards China. As the black ball left, the bodies of those strange people fell to the ground, as if they had lost their vitality. A breeze blew by, and their bodies turned into dust and dissipated in the air. "Are these weird tribesmen dead?" Right. Underground in China, Chen Ling looked at user in front of him with an indifferent expression, without any wavering in his eyes. At this moment, a powerful energy wave suddenly erupted from the underground crack that was torn open by Chen Ling. I saw a huge black ball of light flying in from inside, and through its surface, I could vaguely see countless twisted and ferocious faces. "Come on, my people, come and make your king stronger." Uther laughed maniacally, and the black hole in his abdomen kept spinning, swallowing the black ball of light into it. As time passed, Uther's body gradually changed. He bent down and spit out a string of strange characters, Abizarita. Immediately afterwards, his body slowly straightened up, a layer of mysterious runes appeared on his face, and his entire body also expanded rapidly at this moment. In the end, his body shape turned out to be the same size as the Godfiend Law manifestation transformed by Chen Ling. "Boy, come out and fight me!" Uther roared loudly, stepped across the ground and walked towards the ground. Chen Ling didn't hesitate at all. He disappeared from the spot in a flash and sped towards the ground. At the same time, Wu Tong also turned into a black shadow, followed closely, and left the ground. Just when the two of them left the ground, above the Chinese land, in the sky near the Chen family, two huge figures were confronting each other. One of them is the king of the Wei clan who exudes a strange aura, and the other is the Godfiend Law manifestation that shines with black and red light. These two huge existences shocked the entire China, and countless people's eyes were focused on them. "What is that?" a student from Qinglong University murmured in a low voice. "It seems like the king of the Wei clan appeared not long ago." Another student next to him shouted in surprise. "What about the other one?" "Godfiend Law manifestation. It's Chen Ling. It's the god of death." People around him were shocked. Whether they were teachers and students from major universities or the children of aristocratic families, they all had expressions of horror on their faces. Some people with lower cultivation levels prayed silently, hoping that this battle would not affect them. After all, as ordinary humans, they only think about how to survive. People from the Chen family and the Lin family felt the movement, and their figures quickly flashed and appeared high in the sky. "Linger." Ruby Lin looked at Chen Ling worriedly. Chen Tianao put his arm around her shoulders and comforted her. "Arlinger has become a strong man, don't worry." Chen Lingning looked at user. The system panel flashed, and Chen Ling said calmly, "Venerable Realm early stage." "Haha, boy, now that I am the Venerable Realm, what can you do to me?" "Don't worry, if I kill you, I will swallow up the entire Blue Star. Especially China, I will take good care of it," Uther joked. Chen Ling's eyes suddenly turned cold and he murmured softly, "Tien Venerable Realm experience card, use it." At that moment, the card instantly shattered and turned into an extremely powerful torrent of energy, rushing into Chen Ling's body. This energy was like a clear spring pouring into the dry earth, quickly nourishing every corner of Chen Ling's body, making him feel unprecedented comfort and pleasure. And with the influx of this energy, Chen Ling's realm began to soar. His aura continued to rise, soaring from the earth to the venerable realm, and finally broke through to the heavenly venerable realm. Uther's originally confident smile suddenly froze, with an expression of disbelief on his face. He widened his eyes, stared at Chen Ling, and murmured to himself, "Impossible. How can you break through the venerable realm?" However, reality ruthlessly broke his fantasy. The corners of Chen Ling's mouth raised slightly, revealing a faint smile, but he did not explain anything. He knew very well that it was useless to talk more at this time, and only actions could prove everything. I saw him waving his hands, and the Godfiend Law manifestation behind him suddenly started to move. The Law manifestation holds a huge blood sword in its hand, shining with dazzling light and exuding endless coercion. Chen Ling's figure flashed and disappeared in an instant, then appeared in front of User the next moment. He swung his blood sword and struck hard at Uther with fierce sword energy. Seeing Chen Ling's menacing attack, User did not dare to underestimate him. He knew that the strength of the young man in front of him was unfathomable and he could not be careless in the slightest. He hurriedly chanted the spell, and saw the bone knife flying out, becoming extremely huge and flashing with cold light. User swung out his sword without hesitation, and with a fierce momentum, it collided with Chen Ling's blood sword. In an instant, there was a strong fluctuation between the two, as if the whole world was shaking. The clouds in the sky were scattered, and the air currents surged, as if they were going to tear the entire China apart. After the blow, the two separated. User looked at Chen Ling solemnly. It seemed that he and Chen Ling were tied just now, but only he knew the real situation. He was actually at a disadvantage. The other party's power exceeded his expectations, making him shocked and uneasy. "User, what's the matter? Isn't this going to work? I haven't used my full strength yet." Chen Ling raised the corners of his mouth slightly, revealing a confident smile. The blood sword in his hand exudes the smell of blood, which makes people shudder. User's chest rose and fell. He breathed a sigh of relief, and said seriously, "Humph. It's useless to talk more, I'll see the truth behind my hands." He decided not to hold back anymore and fight Chen Ling with all his strength. After saying that, Uther picked up the bone knife and rushed over. The huge body passed through the sky, like a moving mountain, covering the sky and the sun, giving people an endless sense of oppression. Chen Ling's posture was as tall as a pine tree, with the corners of his mouth raised slightly as he murmured to himself, "I have never used this reward. You will be the first alien to see its power." Before he finished speaking, his eyes became extremely sharp, as if they were about to penetrate the void. Immediately afterwards, he shouted softly, "Reincarnation bone. Start." As his words fell, a mysterious and powerful force emerged from his chest. I saw that his chest was constantly emitting dazzling light, as if a scorching sun was rising in it. In the light, a mysterious shadow of a bone gradually emerged. This bone was crystal clear, with some purple flowing clouds on it, as beautiful as a dream. Boom, boom, boom. A heavy heartbeat kept ringing in everyone's hearts, as if it was resonating with heaven and earth. This sound is shocking and makes people feel an endless vitality and power. At the same time, User's attack had already arrived in front of Chen Ling. However, Chen Ling did not raise his hand to resist, he just smiled and said silently in his heart, "Nothingness." In an instant, Chen Ling's body seemed to merge into the void, becoming transparent and illusory. Uther's attack passed through his body as if passing through the air, unable to hit him at all. The smile on Uther's face froze instantly, showing an unbelievable look. "How is it possible? Void, isn't this a move that only the most powerful people can do? How could you?" At this moment, Chen Ling's body was like a ghost, light and elegant, as if integrated with the air. He waved his hand again, and his body returned to the real world from his void space. Instead of continuing the verbal dispute with Uther, he directly used the powerful move of the Samsara bone. Reincarnation bone prison. Chen Ling raised a finger and pointed at Uther. In an instant, the reincarnation bone emitted a dazzling light, and countless purple divine bones appeared out of thin air, quickly surrounding Uther's huge body. Uther seemed to be in an independent space. In the air, a huge cubic bone frame quietly appeared, slowly rotating. Everyone in China was stunned. This scene shocked them too much. A being as powerful as Uther was trapped by Chen Ling with just one move, and it seemed like he could not escape at all. Godfrey and extreme tear. Chen Ling waved his hands, easily tore open a space crack, and then stepped into it. Inside the bone prison, Uther was being bitten crazily by countless skulls, but strangely, he seemed unable to touch these skulls, just like when he faced Chen Ling's nothingness before. However, these skulls can cause real attacks on him. At this time, Uther's body was covered in scars, black blood was dripping continuously, and his breathing became extremely rapid, as if he might collapse at any time. At this moment, a space crack appeared, and Chen Ling walked out of it. Looking at Yuce's embarrassed appearance, a teasing smile appeared on the corner of his mouth, and he said jokingly, "Why can't the famous king of the Wei clan be so reluctant to fight?" Tisk tisk. As soon as Yuzer saw Chen Ling, his eyes turned red, endless killing intent filled the air, and he roared, "Chen Ling! If you dare, fight me head on." Chen Ling shook his head, with a look of helplessness on his face, and said calmly, "Today's farce has been long enough, and I am tired. Let's stop it here." When Yuzer heard this, he looked puzzled and was filled with doubts in his heart. However, the next moment, Chen Ling did not hesitate at all and whispered, "The end of reincarnation." After the words fell, behind Chen Ling, a huge Taoist platform appeared, with mysterious runes engraved on it, and a strong unknown force was rapidly gathering. Uther's face changed drastically, and the hairs all over his body stood up. He hurriedly used all his defensive methods. In front of him, more than 100 protective shields with extremely strong defensive power were instantly erected. But even so, he still felt unprecedented fear, as if death was about to come. As expected, after the platform was successfully condensed, the purple beam of light spurted out like a volcanic eruption, breaking through the 99 protective shields carefully arranged by Uther in the blink of an eye. Uther desperately released his spiritual energy, continuously blessing the last shield, but to no avail. The terrifying power of reincarnation easily passed through the last shield and struck hard on his body. Uther howled in pain, his whole body kept retreating like a kite with a broken string, and finally hit the wall of the bone prison. Chen Ling did not stop the attack and continued to increase the energy output. With a loud bang, the walls of the bone prison were overwhelmed and broke, and Uther was ruthlessly knocked out of the bone prison. Outside, everyone was shocked to see Uther again. At this moment, he has long lost the majesty he had just now, and his body is slowly dissipating, like a candle in the wind. Uther's head also began to dissipate, and his soul was completely wiped out at this moment. However, the purple beam of light seemed to still have some remaining power and was still charging forward menacingly. Finally, it hit a mountain range in China. In an instant, the mountain range was flattened, and the beam of light created a bottomless crack. Viewed from a high altitude, this crack looks like a huge abyss, which is terrifying. From then on, later generations named this abyss, Reincarnation Abyss, to commemorate this thrilling battle. King Yutong yelled, but unfortunately Uther was already dead. Totally like that. Chen Ling's figure appeared and glanced at Wutong. Suddenly, his body dissipated and his soul was extinguished in the heaven and earth. At this point, the king of the Wei clan is destroyed. The Wei clan no longer exists. After this battle, the Chen family was regarded as the patron saint of China. That powerful strength was recognized by everyone. Even the first elder had to admit that their vision was too narrow before, and they actually tried to collude with other countries to destroy the Chen family. Now that they think about it, they themselves are like clowns. The Chen family didn't take them seriously at all, and now they don't dare to play anymore. As for the students in those so-called universities, they are no longer on the same level as Chen Ling, so they can only be intimidated. In the Chen family, Chen Ling was lying on the bed for a rare rest. At this time, the system sound rang. Ding! The host has been detected and killed powerful enemies, showing off his invincible body. The villain is extremely powerful. Long-term missions are now issued. After hearing the system prompt, Chen Ling slowly opened his eyes, raised the corners of his mouth slightly, and showed a faint smile. He secretly thought to himself, this system really knows how to choose the right time. He had just killed a powerful enemy and a long-term mission was given to him. However, he did not feel the slightest pressure. Instead, he felt it was a challenge and an opportunity. Ding. Long-term mission. Outside the blue star, the Great Tao Law is the mainstay, and the host, as the villain, needs to practice killing the Great Tao. Ding. Kill 1,000,000,000,000 people. Kill and prove the truth. Step on the heavens with your feet. I am the only one who is supreme. When the system's sound sounded again, Chen Ling's face changed slightly, and a look of surprise flashed in his eyes. Killing 1,000,000,000,000 people. This is not a small number. However, he quickly regained his composure. After all, he was used to the various weird tasks of the system. Moreover, for him, killing is not difficult. As long as he has enough strength and opportunity, it is not impossible to complete this task. 1,000,000,000,000 people. You can't do it on Blue Star, so go outside Blue Star. Kill him and turn the world upside down. The sun and the moon will turn upside down. Chen Ling said to himself, with a firm light shining in his eyes. Although this task seems daunting, he believes that as long as he keeps working hard, he will be able to complete it one day. What's more, he also has systematic help, which makes him full of confidence in the future. It's a long-term mission anyway, so Chen Ling doesn't need to worry about it at this time. After leaving Blue Star, he has plenty of time. He decided to take a good rest and adjust his condition before starting to prepare for this long-term task. After all, only by maintaining a good state can we better cope with various challenges and difficulties. But this system is really ruthless. How many mountains would it take to kill 1,000,000,000,000 people? Chen Ling couldn't help but think. In the system space, a little loli was smiling evilly. At this time, a crisp knock on the door broke the silence. Then, a beautiful figure walked in. This person is Qin Yao. Chen Ling has not seen her for a long time. At this moment, Qin Yao is already in the venerable realm, and her strength cannot be underestimated. After all, she is considered one of Chen Ling's subordinates. Qin Yao looked at Chen Ling shyly, with a bit of resentment, and said coquettishly, "Young Master Ling, it's been a long time since you visited me." Humph. Chen Ling responded calmly, "A lot of things have happened recently. I'm really busy and don't have time to come over." Hearing these words, Qin Yao's eyes flashed with a trace of disappointment, and she said softly, "Master Ling, I know you are very busy, but I really miss you." With that, Qin Yao began sobbed quietly. Qin Yao raised her head and looked at Chen Ling with tears in her eyes. "Mr. Ling, you have changed. You don't love me that much anymore." The corner of Chen Ling's mouth raised slightly, revealing a smile. "Love? Do you want to talk about love with me? Qin Yao, you have to know your identity and status. Everything you have today is because of me. So, don't hold your heart against me. Too many unrealistic fantasies." After Qin Yao heard this, her face instantly turned pale. She looked at Chen Ling in disbelief, her eyes full of fear and despair. She never thought that Chen Ling would be so cold and heartless, or even say such cruel words to her. Chen Ling pinched Qin Yao's chin and moved his face towards her. His eyes were cold and sharp, as if they could penetrate people's souls. He said in a low and cold voice, "Except for the Chen family, anyone and anything are just props on my way to becoming a strong man. I can accomplish what I want by any means necessary." His words were as biting as the cold wind, making Qin Yao shiver. She felt the ambition and desire deep in Chen Ling's heart, as well as his persistent pursuit of power and strength. Chen Ling continued, "And you? I can throw it away at any time. I can also kill it at any time. Remember your identity." There was a hint of murderous intent in his eyes, which made Qin Yao's heart sink to the bottom instantly. Qin Yao was frightened, and her body trembled involuntarily. Her eyes widened and she stood there blankly, completely at a loss. She had never seen Chen Ling like this before. The once gentle and considerate man had now become so strange and scary. "I'm sorry, Mr. Ling, it was my fault. It won't happen again." Qin Yao's voice was filled with tears, and tears welled up in her eyes. She knew that her behavior just now had offended Chen Ling, but she didn't know how to save the situation. Chen Ling looked at Qin Yao's frightened look and felt a sense of satisfaction in his heart. He likes to control everything, including the fate of others. But at the same time, he also knew not to push Qin Yao too hard. After all, she still had value. So, his tone became much gentler, and he gently stroked Qin Yao's hair and said, "Be calm, maybe you can come with me to see the scenery beyond the heavens." When Qin Yao heard this, hope ignited in her heart. She looked at Chen Ling with tears in her eyes, tears shining in her eyes, young Master Ling. However, at this moment, Chen Ling suddenly reached out and put his hand on Qin Yao's head, pushing her head down hard. Qin Yao was startled, thinking that Chen Ling was going to hurt her, but she soon realized that this was an ambiguous move. Get rid of the fire. Chen Ling whispered. There was a kind of desire in his eyes, which made Qin Yao's heart beat faster. Although she was a little scared, she still lowered her head obediently and cooperated with Chen Ling's movements. In the dark temple, there is a mysterious figure sitting there elegantly, with his legs crossed and raised, one hand supporting his head, and the other hand gently shaking a glass of red wine as bright as blood. When he slowly placed the wine glass on the tip of his nose, he closed his eyes slightly, sniffing the charming aroma of the red wine, and a faint smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. His voice is low and magnetic, as if it has a mysterious power that makes people fall in love with it. What an interesting little guy. It's really amazing that he can reach the venerable realm at such a young age. This kind of strength is comparable to those of the most talented people in the world. He murmured softly, his eyes shining with admiration. However, then his eyes became sharp and he seemed to see through everything. But, this young man is obviously not the kind of person who is easily controlled and manipulated. But I don't want to easily kill such an outstanding talent. After all, geniuses are rare in this world. In this case, let him live a little longer. Let me wait and see how far he can go in this vast world of heavens. He murmured to himself, with a hint of expectation and curiosity in his tone. Then, his gaze became deep and distant, as if he had penetrated endless time and space and saw the future. The main body is about to break through to the universe. Time is running out. Soon, I will be able to touch that higher level. He whispered, his voice full of emotion. The desire and pursuit of the unknown. After the Kui tribe was wiped out, Blue Star finally ushered in a rare peaceful time. However, this war brought huge losses to Blue Star. Most of the martial artists below the Great Emperor realm were killed in the battle with the Kui tribe, causing a serious gap in Blue Star's strength. Nonetheless, this is also the result of natural selection. In the brutal war, only the strongest and most talented can survive. This elimination mechanism has improved Blue Star's overall strength, and also made people cherish life more and constantly pursue higher realms. Today, Blue Star's spiritual energy is flowing out like a fountain, rich and pure. In this environment, many people broke through to the Emperor realm. However, what is puzzling is that Blue Star Tiandao did not exclude these powerful ancestors from the Emperor realm as usual. Although people were confused about this phenomenon, they did not think deeply about it. After all, the world of the heavens is full of opportunities and challenges, attracting countless strong people to explore. However, there are also endless dangers and killings, and you will fall into a desperate situation if you are not careful. During this period, Blue Star's landscape has undergone earth-shaking changes. The competition between various forces is becoming increasingly fierce, and everyone is trying to adapt to the new environment. In this era full of variables, only by continuous progress can we gain a firm foothold. The Chen family of Tiandu, now, the Chen family and the Lin family have merged, and their development is booming. Even the Ji family has become a subsidiary family of the Chen family. But this strength alone is not enough. There are many strong people outside of Blue Star. The heavens are so big, there are countless planets like Blue Star. People like these, people below the venerable realm, in the heavens, can take a big picture with just one slap. And Chen Ling cannot stay on Blue Star forever. If he wants to become stronger, he can only set foot in the heavens and kill those geniuses and sons of fate. It's time to give the family a big boost. Chen Ling murmured in the room. After that, he flashed and stepped into the Tower of Samsara. At this time, the Chen family all gathered in the square of the Tower of Samsara, discussing the scene where Chen Ling killed User. Didn't you see that the young master directly pressed down on the king of the Wei tribe and beat him? It was so fierce. Yes, I saw it. I was right next to you at the time. The young master is really awesome. Young master is truly the pillar of our Chen family. Without him, we wouldn't be where we are today. That is, if it weren't for the young master, what would we do now? I also want to be like the young master. Go to sleep, it's all in your dreams. Chen Tianao and Lin Xinru listened to the discussions of their clan members, and couldn't help but feel a sense of relief in their hearts. Their youngest son had finally grown up and became the backbone of the Chen family. They looked at each other and smiled, their eyes full of pride and pride. Chen Ling's brothers and sisters are also proud of Chen Ling. They know that the reason why Chen Ling is so powerful is not only because of his extraordinary talent, but also because he has put in more effort than others. They secretly made up their minds to practice hard and try to catch up with Chen Ling as soon as possible. The family ancestors and clan elders were also smiling. They know that the development of the Chen family into its current state is entirely due to Chen Ling's efforts and contributions. They are full of gratitude to Chen Ling and hope that he can continue to lead the Chen family to a better future. Chen Ling came to the top of the square, put his hands on his back, and quietly looked down at the crowd below. His eyes were as calm as water, but they revealed an indescribable majesty. At this moment, he seemed to be integrated with the heaven and earth, exuding an awe-inspiring aura. What a stranger, he is like jade, and his son is unparalleled in the world. As soon as Chen Ling appeared, the discussion below disappeared without a trace. Everyone turned their eyes to Chen Ling, their eyes full of respect. They knew that the young man in front of them was not only the young master of the Chen family, he had long been their master in their hearts. In front of him, no one dared to show any lightness. Everyone, my Chen family has developed very well now. The lowest level is the Great Emperor realm. I am very happy. Chen Ling sat on the main seat with a faint smile on his face and scanned the people below. The people below nodded in agreement, their eyes shining with excitement and pride. The rise of the Chen family made them feel extremely proud. However, Chen Ling was not satisfied with this. He stood up, turned his back to everyone, and said firmly, "But, this is not enough. Our goal is the heavens. Even beyond the heavens." When everyone heard this, they couldn't help but take a breath of cold air. Beyond the heavens, that is a mysterious and distant place, full of unknowns and dangers. But Chen Ling's words made a strong desire and fighting spirit surge in their hearts. Chen Ling waved his hand, and a huge virtual image appeared in midair. What is shown in the image is an earth-shattering god-demon race battle. Countless strong men are fighting fiercely in the starry sky, and every move contains endless power. Everyone was stunned, their eyes fixed on the virtual image, as if they were attracted into it. They saw the powerful men waving their hands, and planets collapsed in an instant. With a stamp of their feet, the stars in the sky shattered into countless fragments. A battle of this level was simply beyond their imagination. Everyone in the Chen family was deeply shocked by the scene in front of them. Their eyes widened and their mouths opened slightly, completely immersed in this thrilling battle. Even the ancestors were no exception. Although they had lived for a long time and heard many legends about the heavens, the scene before them still severely impacted their worldview. Is this the real strong man? Is this the heavens? It seems that our vision is too narrow. The children of the Chen family began to reflect. They were proud of their breakthrough to the Great Emperor realm before, but now they find that they have only taken a small step on the road to becoming strong. The heavens are cruel. I want to take everyone in the Chen family to that world, but I don't want to be wiped out as soon as I go out. Therefore, the Chen family still needs to become stronger. Become stronger, Chen Ling said loudly. His voice was like thunder, echoing in the ears of every Chen family disciple. They all raised their heads and looked at Chen Ling firmly, with strong fighting spirit shining in their eyes. The future of the Chen family will be left to you, Chen Ling said. The Chen family disciples shouted in unison, "Obey." They know that only by constantly working hard to cultivate can the Chen family become stronger and go further on the road to the heavens. Chen Ling raised the corner of his mouth and waved his hand, and an ancient pool appeared on the edge of the square. This pool is the qualification upgrade pool. At this time, it is emitting a faint white light. This is the qualification upgrade pool. As the name suggests, it is a treasure that can improve your qualifications. Chen Ling explained excitedly. When everyone in the family heard this, they all showed expressions of shock and excitement, and the scene suddenly became excited. They secretly sighed. There is such a magical treasure that can improve your qualifications. You know, a person's qualifications are innate, and it is very difficult to improve them. However, now there is such a magical pool that can help people improve their qualifications, which undoubtedly brings huge opportunities to the family. Once you can improve your qualifications, the benefits will be immeasurable. Not only will the speed of cultivation be greatly accelerated, but the ability to comprehend the techniques will also be greatly improved, and it may even be possible to cross realms and kill enemies. This means that the future strength of family members will be greatly improved. I wonder if there will be rewards in the future for treasures that can give birth to special physiques. Chen Ling thought to himself. If there is such a treasure, the family will become stronger. By then, everyone will have a special physique. Once a battle breaks out and everyone activates their special physique, how spectacular will the scene be? Isn't this meant to confuse the enemy? When the war started, it was discovered that not only had the cultivation level been crushed, but the number of people had also been crushed. What's even worse is that each of these guys actually has a special physique. How can anyone play with this? However, these thoughts are just passing through his mind for now. Chen Ling firmly believes that such rewards will definitely appear in the future. After all, he has full confidence in the system. She has always been generous and never stingy. As long as you take a sip of the water here, you can improve your qualifications. As for how much you can improve, it depends on your luck. Even if the improvement is not much, there is no need to worry, because you can drink here once a week. Chen Ling explained to everyone. Hearing these words, everyone's eyes shone with excitement. After saying that, Chen Ling returned to his seat and quietly observed them improving their qualifications. Chen Tianao and others looked at each other, stepped forward one after another, picked up a handful of cool water with both hands, and drank it all without hesitation. Then, they sat down cross-legged and began to feel the changes in their bodies. Not long after, their bodies emitted a faint golden light, and their whole bodies felt warm and comfortable. They only felt a mysterious force flowing through their meridians, like a clear spring nourishing the dry land, and like a key opening a door that had been closed for a long time. Wherever this force passed, the originally blocked meridians were opened one after another, and the shackles were instantly broken. Not only that, their cultivation levels are also constantly rising as their qualifications improve. Chen Tianao's aura suddenly exploded, and his realm directly crossed a major stage, from the late breakthrough of the Divine Emperor realm to the perfection of the Divine Emperor realm. But this was just the beginning. Then, his realm improved again, reaching the early stage of Emperor realm. Ancestor Emperor realm midterm. Ancestor Emperor realm late stage. Ancestor Emperor realm is complete. People Venerable realm early stage. People Venerable realm midterm. People Venerable realm late stage. People Venerable realm is complete. Venerable realm early stage. Finally, Chen Tianao's realm stabilized in the middle stage of Venerable realm. The benefits brought by the improvement of qualifications are simply beyond imagination. It is like piercing a layer of window paper, allowing them to have a deeper understanding and appreciation of the way of practice. The problems that originally troubled them have become easily solved, and their cultivation has become natural. Got a huge improvement. At this time, Lin Xinru also successfully broke through to the early stage of the Venerable Realm, and Chen Jiani was even more amazing. He actually directly crossed several realms and broke through to the consummation of the Venerable Realm. At this moment, Chen Jiani seemed to have experienced a rebirth. His originally gray hair had now become black and shiny, and his old face had returned to that of a middle-aged man in his 40s. This is one of the benefits brought by improving cultivation. The body is filled with spiritual energy, and the appearance can be kept young. Several of Chen Ling's brothers and sisters also made huge breakthroughs. They jumped from the Heavenly Emperor realm to the early stage of the Human Venerable realm, and continuously crossed multiple major realms. Xie Ziqing and other powerful people who were originally in the Human Venerable realm have now successfully entered the Earthly Venerable realm. As for the children of the family, they have broken through several major realms one after another, and now the lowest realm has reached the Divine Emperor realm. And those who were originally the Divine Emperor realm have successfully broken through to the early stage of the Human Venerable realm. Even those ancestors, relying on years of accumulation and the dredging of this pool of water, successfully broke through to the early stage of the Venerable realm. Chen Ling's face was full of smiles. The family is getting stronger and stronger, which is what he wants to see most. Congratulations to everyone, you have improved more or less. Don't be discouraged if the improvement is not big. Drink the pool water again in a week. However, for those who have greatly improved, even if they drink pool water later, the effect will be greatly reduced. Chen Ling explained. Thank you, young master. Everyone said in unison. Chen Ling slowly stood up and walked towards the qualification upgrade pool. I don't know if this qualification upgrade pool is of any use to me. Looking back, Chen Ling's talent was not that high before. If there was no system, he might be similar to ordinary people now. Even if he later merges with the Chaos Godfiend body, it is still a special physique and has nothing to do with his own qualifications. Therefore, perhaps, this qualification upgrade pool will also be of great use to him. He came to the qualification upgrade pool and stared at the energy fluctuations in the water. There was a feeling of anticipation in my heart. Under the watchful eyes of everyone, Chen Ling raised his hand and waved, and the wisp of water flew into his mouth as if he had been summoned. Then, he closed his eyes, sat cross-legged, and began to feel the baptism brought by this magical pool. In an instant, a mysterious and powerful force burst out from Chen Ling's body. I saw that the surface of his body was emitting a black-purple light, which was completely different from the light emitted by other tribesmen around him. The entire interior of the Samsara Tower was instantly shrouded in endless darkness, as if the end of the world was coming. However, the wisps of black and purple light did not stop flowing, they poured into Chen Ling's body like a torrent. This strange sight shocked everyone present in the Chen family. Hiss, you are indeed the young master of my Chen family. What a difference, some people couldn't help but exclaimed. As time passed, the blocked meridians in Chen Ling's body were gradually unblocked, and the soul in his brain was also undergoing a transformation. At the same time, his cultivation level was also rising at an alarming rate. Venerable Realm Midterm. Land Venerable Realm Late Stage. The Venerable Realm is complete. Early days of Venerable Realm. Midday Venerable Realm. Venerable Realm Late Stage. The Venerable Realm is complete. At this moment, a deafening roar sounded. Chen Ling's body shook violently. He successfully broke through the bottleneck and entered the early stage of the human realm. This breakthrough made everyone look at it with side eyes and their hearts filled with awe. Chen Ling slowly opened his eyes, and a black light flashed through his eyes. Feeling how powerful he was, Chen Ling was a little excited, and he clenched his fist casually. The space around him was faintly fluctuating, as if it was about to break at any time. Everyone in the family looked at Chen Ling's powerful display with shock on their faces. The realm of humanity is the first step to the realm of Tao. Many people will never be able to enter this realm in their lifetime. Chen Ling slowly calmed down his breath, and the space around him gradually stabilized. He glanced at the family members, and then said calmly, "Okay. That's it for today, everyone should practice well. In 1 year, we will set off to the heavens." Yes, the disciples of the family responded in unison, and their voices echoed throughout the square. As soon as he finished speaking, Chen Ling's figure instantly disappeared from everyone's eyes. The family disciples were not idle. They sat cross-legged on the spot, closed their eyes, and began to practice meditation. Chen Tianao and other core members of the family went to the Samsara Tower Palace together, sat down on the futons in the palace, and entered a deep state of cultivation. Time flies, and 1 year has passed in the blink of an eye. In this year, the strength of everyone in the family has improved significantly. Since they have improved their qualifications many times, their cultivation speed has also been greatly accelerated. Now, the lowest realm in the family has reached the human venerable realm. Chen Ling's brothers and sisters all successfully broke through to the venerable realm, showing amazing strength and potential. After all, they themselves have special physiques, which makes their cultivation speed much faster than ordinary people, so this breakthrough is a natural progression. However, the most eye-catching people are Chen Tianao, Ruby Lin and Chen Jianyi, who successfully entered the human realm. This breakthrough speed is really amazing. The time-accelerating function of the reincarnation tower is fully demonstrated at this moment. It is just 1 year outside, but it has experienced a long 100 years inside. Despite this, Chen Ling was not idle. With his own efforts and perseverance, he persisted in practicing for a whole year without taking a single step. Now that the 1 year period has expired, all the family disciples opened their eyes and lined up in the square, waiting for Chen Ling's arrival. Chen Tianao and other powerful men also opened the palace door one after another, quickly passed by, and stood firmly at the front of the team. At this moment, everyone exudes a transcendent and refined aura, as if they have transcended the realm of mortals, like immortals descending to the mortal world. In fact, the Emperor realm is a span. As long as you break through to the human venerable realm, the meridians in the body will expand, the blood will evolve, and the life level will increase. Naturally, it will no longer be immortal. Everyone was chatting and talking about their cultivation experience over the past year, and many people benefited from it. After being promoted by the qualification upgrade pool, they have all entered the ranks of geniuses, and are no longer as ordinary as before. At this time, at the top of the palace, a pillar of dark light shot straight into the sky. In an instant, the clouds in the Samsara Tower were dispersed, and circles of light spread out, with a magnificent momentum. "Look, what is that?" someone exclaimed. Everyone looked up and saw a figure flying out of the air against the light beam, standing in the sky, overlooking them. "Who is that? How did he fly out of the Tower of Reincarnation?" someone asked doubtfully. "Such a powerful aura, could it be the young master?" someone speculated. After taking a closer look, this person is Chen Ling. Originally, only by using the Chaos Godfiend body could the short hair be transformed into long hair, but now he has long hair and a shawl. He was wearing a black robe with fluttering skirts, as if the devil had descended. His eyes were cold, but also carried an indescribable pressure that made people dare not look directly at him. "Young master, it's really the young master," someone shouted excitedly. "I didn't expect that the young master would become so powerful. It seems that this retreat has benefited him a lot," someone sighed. In the early stage of the Desolate Realm, in the Reincarnation Tower, it took 100 years to break through the 3 major realms, which is still not enough. Chen Ling frowned and murmured. In his plan, he should be able to break through to the Flood Realm. The Desolate Realm is not enough to be seen in the heavens, but it should be enough to deal with ordinary forces. This is not to blame Chen Ling. After all, he possesses the first Hongmeng body and the fourth Hongmeng body. He is more evil than everyone in the world. He has only broken through these few realms and is not worthy of his status. Chen Ling's body slowly descended and stood at the top of the square. He looked around at everyone and nodded with satisfaction. "Not bad, it seems that you have not slacked off during this period of time." "Young master, you are serious," everyone said in unison. "Okay, then, it's time to go to the heavens," Chen Ling said calmly, and in a blink of an eye, he appeared outside the Reincarnation Tower. Seeing this, others followed suit. Outside, Chen Ling waved his sleeves lightly, and a mini palace emerged, gradually getting bigger. How big is it? Big enough to cover the entire sky over China. This palace is the system reward that Chen Ling received before, the Palace of Gods. As soon as everyone in the Chen family walked out of the Tower of Reincarnation, they saw the shocking scene in front of them and couldn't help but sigh. Young master is indeed a young master. "Everyone, follow me into the palace. Set off to the heavens." Chen Ling shouted loudly, and a shining portal suddenly appeared. Everyone rushed into the palace impatiently. People in China all looked up at the palace in the sky, filled with expectation and curiosity. The first elder looked at all this respectfully. Suddenly, Chen Ling's voice sounded in his mind. "First elder, I hope you can protect China. After all, this is also my first home. Follow your orders," the first elder said quickly. He knew that he shouldered a heavy responsibility and must go all out to complete the task. In fact, their current strength lies in the Emperor realm, which is already a very powerful state. However, all this is because of Chen Ling's help and support. Without his Taoist demon, they would not have achieved what they have today. On Blue Star, they are already considered the top powerhouses, but this is not enough. These are some elixirs that can be used to cultivate powerful men in the Emperor realm in large quantities. The specific methods of use are in it, and I leave them to you. It can be regarded as the last thing I do for my Chinese compatriots," Chen Ling said. "These elixirs may be just ordinary medicines for ordinary people, but they are priceless treasures for practitioners, which can greatly improve their cultivation and strength." As Chen Ling finished speaking, a large number of bottled elixirs appeared in front of the first elder. The amount was jaw-dropping, almost filling the entire office. These elixirs exude strong spiritual energy fluctuations, as if they have endless vitality. Each bottle of elixir represents a piece of hope and strength. As long as these resources are used rationally, more Emperor Realm experts can be cultivated. Thank you. The first elder was moved to tears. He knew what these pills meant, and he also understood Chen Ling's expectations and trust in them. He took the elixir with tears of gratitude and said he would cherish this precious gift. Chen Ling looked back and looked at the land again, filled with emotion. This is the place where he grew up and the eternal home in his heart. Although he is about to leave, he believes that China's future will be even better. After stepping into the Shenzhen Palace, Chen Ling issued the final order, "Go." Heavens! As his voice sounded, the Shenzhen Palace instantly disappeared over China and embarked on a new journey. The Shenzhen Palace streaked across the sky like a shooting star, speeding towards an unknown direction. Chen Ling stood in the palace of the gods, his eyes firm and deep, as if he had seen through the mysteries of the universe. This departure is not only a killing, but also a journey to pursue a higher realm. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.